Hey everybody, good to see you guys today. Let me know if you can hear me. Looks like everything's going okay so far. Everything's good on my end. So what are we doing? We are going over the second round of monsters for the Nimble Monster Design Jam. We'll just go and hop right in. We got a bunch more submissions. I'm going to try to limit myself to, hey, Honey Badger, hey, Centric. I'm going to try to limit myself to 10 minutes per submission for the new ones. And then if anybody submitted one last week and you'd like me to re-review or take a look at updates, then let me know. So let's go and get started with actually, I want to start with lizard folk. Let's start with lizard folk. So I got a little timer here. Let's see how far we can get in just 10 minutes. Lizard folk, love lizard folk. Known among themselves as the Slaren, reptilian humanoids native to bogs, swamps, and wetlands. Okay, that's cool. I like distinguishing them from kobolds, who like live in caves and stuff and are inventors, and the snake men, who like live in the desert or up in the air in the sky. the where the bird folk live. The hotter, more humid the region, the more likely it is to be Slayer territory. While they share some traits, kobolds and dragons, they avoid. Okay, yeah, makes sense. The chieftain, shaman, like that. Only females are born with magical ability. That's interesting. Okay, so the Shah woman. They may appear primitive. Intelligent and highly pragmatic. All right, let's pull up this so I can see what you guys. Who made this one? I don't know. Let me see. Let me go to the spreadsheet. Zed. Zed made this one. Okay. Okay, let's go back to the lizard folk. They don't fight fair, they fight to win. Encounter a natural habitat, they're cautious and calculated. Interesting. They won't engage unless they have the advantage. They often coordinate using... I feel like any monster would do this. They often coordinate using sounds or swamp. Okay, so this is cool. This is unusual. I feel like most monsters... I feel like this would apply to most monsters. This would apply to most monsters. But this is cool. Deception, flowery speech. Speaking riddles. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, so cool ideas. They don't worship a god, in other words, might. They follow the coiling one. A force they believe takes the form of a great serpent. Okay. We might want to... Great serpent, that might be cool. To them, it represents the cycle of death, rebirth, and return. Okay, so that's cool. Because we do want to distinguish them between the snake men. So like the snake men... Hey, Zed, there you go. The snake men... They're reptilian, and then the kobolds, the reptilian. So why are the snake men and the lizard folk not the same? Do they like each other? Are they like arch enemies? That kind of thing. So how can we distinguish them? It's sort of like, what's the difference between an ogre and a troll, right? So if they're similar enough, just like mush them together. They're the same, essentially the same thing. Like one is bigger, one is smaller, or whatever. But if they're distinguished, then yeah, yeah, yeah. A different. I like the idea of the coiling one. So I like this idea. Like they follow some force that represents the cycle of death, rebirth, and return. So that kind of thing is cool. Like the snake men are like much more tribal. Let me see. Let me actually pull up the snake men art that I had, just so you can see. Art roll. Yeah, so this is, let me see if you guys can see this. One second. trying to pull it up without pulling everything else. Where are we? Okay, so here we go. This is the art for the snakemen. So sort of tribal. As I was giving the artist direction, I wanted to sort of evoke some like Cherokee vibes and that sort of thing. I've got a little bit of Native American in my family. I thought that kind of thing would be cool, like really bright colors, um, but like clearly snake and not lizard, right? Prehensile tail, like lizards, like I'm here in Florida. Um, like it's just a very different like snakes and lizards are very different things. Like lizards, they can't like curl things around with their tail. The tail just sort of like sticks out and like helps balance or something. I don't know. Okay, so let's make this a little bit bigger so we can see it. Okay, reed stalker, love that. Hunter, scalebreaker, raptor, swamp raptor, scale rider. So all of this is really cool. I don't want to spend too much time on it. If I have time to read through it more, I'll do that. Running lizard folk. That wasn't getting position before hitting hard and fast, always looking to fight on their terms. Okay, so this is cool. Hopefully the mechanics show that. This might be redundant. They focus on spellcasters first, as their hard scales offer no protection. Okay, cool. So they're smart enough to take advantage of to shore up their weaknesses. They're weak, but pair well with hunters. Being poisoned makes it okay. Cool. All right, so let's take a look at the stat blocks so that we have a little bit of context. Okay, so these are relatively quite low level. So these are quite low level. These are like on the scale of goblins. In order to distinguish them from goblins, so goblins are sort of like the lowest level monsters. It's like kobolds, and there's overlap. The kobolds, the goblins, and then I would probably have like these guys because like they're like people sized and they're smart, right? So goblins, they're small and they're not that smart. They're sort of they go for the lulls, right? They go for the chaos. So like as long as there's more of us than them, they'll attack, right? Um, Kobolds, they're smart and they work as a team, but they're really small. So they're not they don't take they're not as big of a threat. But if these guys are both smart and bigger, like human people sized, and they have like the whole culture and all this sort of stuff, they're not just like going for chaos and the lulls. They actually want to win. I might start the Reed Stalker at level 1 or level 2 rather than 1/3 and just sort of scale everything up that way so that we could fight these at level anywhere from like level 3 to like 3 to 9. Like that area would be pretty cool. Goblins are smart, but like they're more for the chaos. They want to laugh. At least in my headcanon. Okay, sneak invisible until they attack. That's cool. Stab 1d4 plus 2 on damage poisoned. Or blowgun, range 8. So I would clarify, does the blowgun, so capitalize the R in range, little thing. Poison dart on damage, dazed or slowed. Let's clarify. So why would they ever, so the interesting, let me think about how. So there should be like one clear thing that they prefer to do, and then like all the other options, right? So for bugbears, let me see if I can pull up the bugbear stat block real quick. If I was more prepared, I would have had this open already. Let's see, GM guide. Oh, I did have it open. Okay, so let's go to let's go to the goblin page since we're already talking about goblins. Okay, so goblins in the full goblin stat block, the full goblin spread that I've made since here, I've clarified like goblins prefer to stab and run away. They will only ever shoot if so they prefer to stab and run away so that they can trigger opportunity attacks and increase the odds of laughing at someone, right? So that is preferred mode, but only if they are further than like 6 spaces away. Only if they're like 6, 7, or 8 spaces away, even after they move, will they ever shoot, right? So they'll shoot as an opening thing, but after that, they're always only going to stab. Okay, bugbear. Like clearly, the bugbear would want to cleave because it deals twice as much damage, right? They will only javelin if they have to. Okay, so that kind of thing. So if we want to keep this the same, maybe their blowgun only has one dart. Like they keep it loaded with one dart. So maybe that's how we could distinguish. So and in that case, I would just have two separate things. So blowgun, range 8, and maybe it would be like uh, 1d4. It could have the same damage, 1d4 plus 2 on damage, poisoned. Or it could be like yeah, on damage poison. Maybe it could just be 1d4, and then like doesn't break stealth, something like that. One use, so that it does this. Like you got hit by something you didn't know, right? And then stab, because like if it's a blowgun, like they can just it doesn't make any noise. That kind of thing makes it feel more like a blowgun, less like a bow, right? Poison dart on damage days are slowed. Okay, I like poisoned because you can still do all your things. Um, Poison for how long? Poison for 1 round. Poisoned until this. Poisoned until that. You can see these in the Everglades. Yeah. Let's evoke Hunter. Okay, so medium armor. So I would recommend having, unless there's unless there's some really important reason to have armor, the default should be for like 60% of the monsters should be no armor. And only like the champion or like the scale breaker has medium armor. And then like maybe like so a shaman probably wouldn't have heavy armor. Like maybe one of the so if there's 10 monsters, like one would have heavy armor, 2, maybe 3 would have medium, but most of them would be unarmored. Uh yeah, scroll up a bit. Was that to me? I don't know if that was to me or not. Racial straight before the stat block. Oh, okay. Lizard folk abilities. They make dex saves and checks while on water. Cool, that's neat. Lizard folk scales are very durable, pierced, giving most of them medium armor. Spell and blunt damaging weapon. Okay, so I would swap that around. They're unarmored, but like piercing and slash, they take they're resistant to piercing and slashing damage, right? So like lizard hide would be the ability resistant to piercing and slashing damage. Um, would it be? Yeah, I'd think about it. I don't know that. So like, we've got a lot of lizards here in Florida. Like, they're not resistant to piercing and slashing damage, um, but they're just not. They don't really have they have like if you've ever felt like a snake or something or like some sort of lizard, they just have like regular people's skin, um, like a frog. Like they don't really have they don't really have like lizard hide. If it was like cow folk or like ox folk or something like that, that would make sense. I think we could probably just get rid of this. Just remove the armor and just increase the hit points to compensate in the chart. Cold-blooded weakness takes double. Oh, this is neat. This is really really cool. Saves against cold effect. Yeah, that's neat. Extra idea: cold damage removes one passive from lizard folk. Um, and rather than double damage, I would say a vulnerable. We could just go ahead and use vulnerable. Or cold damage also makes them like cold damage poisons. Like cold damage poisons them, right? So they make their next attack with disadvantage. Or they can move half as fast. Like it wouldn't necessarily do more damage, because like doubling the damage like could just completely like skew the encounter. But like making them move more slowly might make more sense. So it makes them move half as fast, or that kind of thing. Like they're poisoned by cold. That might be neat. Okay, but I do like that. So yeah, yeah. These guys having medium armor doesn't make sense, I don't think. Lizardfolk Hunter, gotcha. When an enemy moves adjacent to, throw your net. One each per encounter net. Okay, so really cool idea. Love that idea. Uh, uh, so we have this thing referencing this other thing. So just go ahead and put the thing that's referencing inside the ability. When an enemy moves adjacent to you, they are restrained. Escape DC 10. Just so I don't have to like it's like going to the table of contents and then turning to the page. If I just knew the page, it's a lot easier. Or you could just write net. I like gotcha. That's funny because like that kind of thing like lets me as a GM know like what to say as I do this attack. Club 1d6 plus 3. I would recommend having all the monsters having the same damage die, unless it's really important, like mechanically, that they don't. So I think up until now, all monsters in a single monster group, except for one, have all the same damage die, and that is like an exception because like just the way it works mechanically. So pick a D6, pick D4, pick a D8. I think D6 or D8 might make sense. Maybe D8 if they're like smart. They're not going to miss or crit very often. That feels about right. That puts them on par with bandits. These are basically like swamp bandits with some cool thing. 1d6 plus 3 or bolus, range 6 on hit restrained. Yeah, so go ahead and move net up to here, and then we can separate club and bolas. And actually, I would just remove bolas because like they have their net. That's their one thing. They carry the one net with them. They carry the one net with them. Yeah. It's important to have like some of them. It's important to have. It's important for some of the monsters to be like easy. Okay. Some monsters can like have cool combinations, but like if every monster has like multiple things going on, then every time it's the hunter's turn, I have to think about what to do rather than just club, right? So I think gotcha or net in club is perfectly fine. 1d6 plus 3. And if it's a hunter, so if we're just sort of thinking through, if it's a hunter, it makes sense that this guy would be ranged. So why would this guy have a net? So why would he throw a net on you when you come adjacent to him? It's probably because he doesn't want you to follow him. He doesn't want you to be adjacent to him, right? So this sounds like he is a ranged guy. So rather than club, maybe it could be bow and arrow or something, and that makes sense why he would net. If it was the other way around, if it was when you move adjacent to an enemy, restrain them, then that would make sense with club because like you're running up, you throw the net, and you start whacking them. Like that kind of thing makes sense. Yeah. So this plus bow or flip it around to make it if you want to use a club. Lizardfolk Scalebreaker. I like the name. Lizardfolk Reedstalker Scalebreaker. Always crit grappled restrained creatures. That's cool. I like that. If do any of these guys grapple? If none of these guys grapple, then just use restrained. So the snake men, their special thing is they grapple. Like when their attacks hit, they grapple. These guys, like we maybe just keep it to restrained. But that's cool. So always crit grappled creatures. So that's a really cool ability, really cool idea. What does that mean? So instead of rolling, deal this much damage. That would be easier. So rather than, all right, I'm gonna get my 2d8, I'm gonna roll 2d8 plus 2, and then I have like a 3 and a 4. Does that mean I change the 3 to an 8, and it's 8 plus 4 plus 2, and then roll another d8? So there's like a lot of steps, a lot of sort of vagueness. And I went way over my 10-minute timer. I would do so what 16, 17, 18. Always deal 18 damage. Or deal 18 damage to, or 20 damage to restrained creatures. Bash 2d8 plus 2. If restrained, 20 damage instead. That'd be cool. And like 20 is super easy to add and subtract. You just minus that 2. And we can get rid of Savage, and it could be just Bash, deals extra damage to instead of rolling to restrained creatures. Swamp Raptor, Pack Tactics, advantage on attacks when allergies to target. Cool. I would make this probably one attack. Oh, he already has enough speed to where he can probably catch up to anybody. I'll make this one attack because it's going to be 2d8 plus 3. So you're adding up 2d8 and a 3, and then you're doing it twice. And then if he has advantage, it's 3d8 plus 3. So you have to find 3 dice and then add a thing. And then you have to find 3 dice again and add a thing. So I would make this probably just one attack since we're already doing this, or 1d8. So you're adding multiple dice and you're doing it multiple times. Always crit grappled restrained creatures. For the Slar! If you move at least 4 spaces in front line, attack with advantage once. Okay, so that's cool. Scale Rider. Okay, so this is a dude riding on a thing. Yeah, I would just move Savage into the ability. And I would just do it once again. And maybe like this, if you move at least 4 spaces in front line, also knock prone. Like that might be cool, because like you're charging forward, and then like it makes sense that you'd knock prone. For the Slar. And I like having like a cool thing to say as they're charging. Bash and Bite. 2d8 plus 8. If they're restrained, just deal 20 damage, or whatever the numbers end up being. Lizardfolk Bloodjaw. Interpose. When allied space, you may swap places with them and take the hit instead. I would just say can interpose for allies. Like it's already part of the core rules. And only like spell it out if it's different, like if it's 3 spaces instead of 2. And it makes sense that this guy would have heavy armor. Great. It super makes sense. And if they have like some cool shield, instead of a shield, they have like the skull of some big giant thing that they killed. Like this is what they use as a shield. Like, oh, that's why they're called Bloodjaw. I don't know. They might be. Can interpose. When enemy moves away from you, knock them prone once per encounter. Okay, so it makes sense that they would tail swipe. Can interpose. So he can interpose. I probably wouldn't have two triggers, 2 things that this guy can do. And on hit dazed. So this is probably too much. I like tail swipe. Let's have that. Let's move that to like maybe if we have like a chieftain or like a legendary monster. If you do a legendary monster, like he can do a tail swipe, right? That's cool. Like, so this guy can do an interpose, and legendary monster can make opportunity attacks. Like that kind of thing would be neat. And the opportunity attack, instead of dealing damage, it knocks prone. Yeah, that kind of thing would be cool, rather than this guy having like 3 things to remember. But I love that he has heavy armor. I love that he can interpose, and like this guy, heavy blow. Maybe on crit dazed. I would do on crit dazed. Like dazed should be fairly rare. Because it does limit the heroes. Let's evoke Shaman, Mother to us all. I really like that. When the Shaman drops to 0 hit points, all those evoked in the encounter gain. Ooh, that's cool. You could just say when on death, when it dies. All lizard folk and the encounter gain 1 extra damage die for 1 round. That's cool. And if they're all d8s, you could just say gain plus 1d8 damage, or plus 4 damage, or like however you want to do it. And you could just say on their next attack. Yeah, allies that can see the shaman cannot be blinded, charmed, or frightened while the shaman is conscious. Warding aura. Cool. So I'm song 2d6 psychic damage to all enemies who can do. That's neat. I like it. Cool AoE. Really like that. Cool ideas, really cool ideas. Fragile Wisdom, the Elder, the Eldar takes double damage from critical hits and automatically fails strength test. In the presence of Eldar, have their damage die increased. Okay, so this is he's a weak boy. Okay, so takes double damage from critical crits. So I would let's tweak that to make it easier to understand. All crits against him are vicious. Like that's a little bit easier to understand rather than double damage. Is it double all the damage? Is it double just the critical dice damage? So like what does that mean? Vicious is makes sense. Automatically fails strength saves, so that's funny. And he takes crits against him are vicious. Cool. And you could just say fragile or elderly. Inspiring presence, lizard folk in the presence of Eldar have their damage die increased by 1. Cool. Reach 4. Yeah, and if we're doing this, we're adding damage dice. We definitely don't want to be having each of these lizard folk attacking multiple times because it's just more things. Eldar, females. I'll call the Eldars. Condemn. Reach 4, damage 30. Ooh. Oh, that's neat. Only usable against an enemy that crit you or an ally since your last turn. Next attack, because that enemy has advantage. Damage can be reduced. I like this idea. I would. So this damage can be reduced is fine for it's fun for heroes because I as the GM I've got a bunch of different tools. Like I don't care if you kill one of my monsters, got like 10 more. I can make a whole flock of goblins come out of this portal. But damage can't be reduced means that I can't, like as a hero, my one guy can't do his one special thing, right? So whether I have temporary hit points or I have a shield or I have like anything else, go ahead and let the heroes do it. Lizard Folk Chieftain, Brute also attacks with Mecha. Okay, cool. I like that. 3d8. Yeah, d8 would be a lot. Attacks against them miss on a 1 and a 2. Okay, cool. Dazed and slowed. I would pick one. I'd probably pick Dazed. Hydra. Ooh, Hydra. Oh man. Zed. Really cool ideas. Really cool ideas so far. 5 heads are better than 1. While it has 3 or more heads, it has advantage on all saves. Okay, so the stat block should make sense as I'm reading from the top down. So I don't know what it means while it has 3 or more heads. So move this ability to after we describe what the heads mean and stuff. Head loss. If the Hydra takes 30 or more damage in a single turn, it loses 1 head and reduces damage die by 1. Then if its turn, it regrows 2 heads for each one it lost last turn. Unless it took fire ice damage this round. If the heads are regrown, it gains an advantage on its next attack roll. I like this idea. I think it needs to be streamlined just a bit. So at level 8, 30 damage at level 8 is a lot of damage to be dealing at one time. So we might have to tweak that. So it loses 1 head and reduces damage. Yeah, so I'd tweak the numbers. I'd streamline this a little bit, but the idea is cool. It has advantage on saves against blind charm. You may split the damage dice to hit multiple enemies. Yeah, I like the ideas. I like how we can split the damage. Okay, so this is what I would do. Get rid of the +5 so that we don't have to do any math. The core thing is so it should be like XD8. Okay. And the X is like however many heads it has. Each time it's damaged, add 1d8. So it starts off with 1. Right? So each time it takes damage, it gains a head. Right? Or like whatever. Like you each time it's crit, each time it takes whatever, like each time that happens, so 1d8, 2d8, so it gets progressively more dangerous until it's dead. That might be a little bit easier. And then I really like this. You may split the damage dice to hit multiple enemies. So I would give him like reach 2 or maybe reach 3. If it's huge, yeah, probably reach 3. So this guy walks up amongst all the different heroes. You roll 5d8, and you say, all right, these 3 dice go to you, this die goes to you, and this die goes to you. You could just divvy up the dice. This Hydra has, yeah, it's got a lot of hit points. So that kind of thing. So we don't have to do any math. I just roll the dice, and I just like sort of divvy it up amongst the 3 heroes that I can reach. That kind of thing would be super duper cool. And then like each time he's damaged, you just add a die to it. So we don't have to worry about like tracking all the heads. The heads he has is the dice that I'm rolling. Yeah. Yeah, so we can tweak with the numbers. So like I'm really not worried too much about the balance of it, but the idea is cool, and like just adding like a stack of dice against this guy, it sounds like it'd be pretty fun. Sounds like it'd be pretty fun. The fire or ice, I don't know that I would worry about that. An advantage and all this, just the number of heads equals the number of dice. That feels pretty spooky. And maybe it's d8s, maybe it's d10s. Something. It should feel right. On damage poisoned, maybe, yeah, maybe. That incentivizes me to sort of like walk up amongst as many different heroes as I can to spread the poison out. Yeah, that makes sense. I kind of like that. Yeah. So if we streamline this a little bit, that's super duper cool. Cool. Okay. Kai Goran, Sauron, Skybreaker, Lizardfolk Chieftain, and has a large wyvern mount. Okay, cool. Okay. Back to back, while within reach to each other. These begins kind of okay. Downed or grappled? I wonder what downed means. Is downed equal to dying? No. The fire damage is representative of how Hercules was able to slay the Hydra burning his next time for that. Oh, prone. Okay. Anything that's prone. Okay. So clarify what automatically crit means. Maybe it could just be like he deals X damage to grappled, restrained, prone, just to make it easier. Yeah. After you choose turn, Kygor smash, move 6, 8, flying. Okay, so this is a guy that they can fly on top of each other, or they can act independently. I would pick one or the other. So in the goblin, give me 1 second. Let me pull up the goblin. And I know I'm spending way more time on this than I said. Can't make me follow the rules. Okay. So let me show you. So we have this is an example of. So it's two guys thematically, but mechanically it's really one. So after each hero's turn, alternate your 2 abilities. So you charge, then you use your fleas. Okay. And then once this guy dies, like they both die. There is in the GM guide, there is one example of this guy. But like they always only act separately. After each turn, choose Kellebec or Poppy. And like we know exactly how it's gonna unfold, because when Kellebec is bloodied, Poppy always interposes, right? So we know that his pet is always going to die first, and then Kellebec. But it's never like they're both going to move together. Like, do they mount or unmount, and this and that. So initially with this guy, it was like so it's like a goblin with on top of a big giant rat, or a large rat. And then like I was thinking like, oh, when he's bloodied, he gets knocked off, and then they fight separately. But like just sort of like mechanically, like how does that play at the table? It was kind of confusing even for me to sort of think through. Or maybe like when he's bloodied, the rat dies, and now you're just fighting this goblin. One goblin isn't really all that terrifying. So like they're both sort of taking damage together, or like they're independent. So they're either mounted or independent. I think that makes sense. I think that's a little bit more clear. That's not to say it can't be this way, but it does complicate it, and then we have to make sure that the juice is worth the squeeze. Tail sweep. Yeah, that's cool. Okay, so I'm since I'm over time on this one, Let's go to the next one. Great so far. Great, great, great ideas, Zed. If not at the top of the list, Zed, very close to the top of the list. Cool. View, zoom, 200. Awesome job. Hooks and jaws. Some say it all started a century ago. I would avoid this kind of thing. Some say, legends say, when the now fabled home of halfling culture was overtaken in Coombe. So, um, just a little bit of writing advice, like put the thing you want to say like at the very beginning. Like, I don't know what a hooks and jaws is even supposed to be yet. Far Hopes Food Gangs. Okay, so gangs is what it is. Like, go ahead and tell me what I need to know, and then you can sort of woo me. All right. Um, Ogre cons, vengeful halfling chef. The hooks. Okay. Oh, okay. So the hooks is one gang, and the jaws are another gang. That is a really cool idea. The hooks, um, like rival gangs locked in perpetual XYZ, like something like that. Like the first like 3 or 4 words should be exactly what it is. This one is by, I don't know. You guys can put your names on the docs if you want to. Lizard folk, hooks and gangs by the Pebble. The Pebble did this one. So yeah, just go ahead and say, hey Brennan, good to see you, man. The Pebble, hey, there you go. All right. Halfling gangs. The hooks are the halfling gangs. That's funny. The jaws are the ogre gang. They control the cantina, street food joints, food delivery. Why would they be called the hooks? The Gonzalo kettle. Short rights activist. Okay. All right. Gonzalo kettle. That's a cool name. Like this immediately, like, all right. Like when I hear this, like this like makes me want to play them. Like this is a 10 out of 10 idea. So this is a 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10 idea. The hooks, I don't understand why they're called the hooks. Like if they were like part of the fishing guild or something, that would make sense. But if they, so can we lean into, like, he's a shorts rights activist. Can we lean into this a little bit? Rather than the hooks, maybe they're called like, maybe not this exactly, but like the knees, like, because they only ever come up to people's knees. They always get kneed in the face, or like something like that, that like reinforces the theme, right? Again, not that exactly, but that sort of thing. The rush, Gordon, his giant bodyguard. That's funny. The Jolly Piglet and the Posh Quarters, nice. The Jaws Ogre Gang controls the slaughterhouse, so this is really cool. That makes complete sense. Dabble in real bracketing on the side, really cool. The members are few compared to the to the hooks. Their stature is imposing. So when I read this, the hooks and the jaws, I immediately thought like Jaws the movie and hooks. Like I thought this was like undersea creatures. So if I was looking for undersea creatures and I flipped to this page, I would be disappointed. If I was looking for like city things, I wouldn't know to look here. Cool. All right, so let's take a look at the stat blocks. Is this commies? Looks, age of the jaws are the priority target on your left. Traversing spaces occupied by hook allies doesn't cost movement. So you can, heroes and monsters, they can already, by default, move through allied spaces without penalty. So maybe this could be they can move through enemies. Enemies are difficult terrain. So maybe this could be enemies. Level 1/4 small. So by the time, so if most adventures start in like a small town, because for like new GMs, a small town is like easy, Like you don't have to memorize every shop, every neighborhood, everything. And by the time they've been playing for a while, the GM sort of has the experience to be able to like have more in view. Like so, once you're higher level, you can go to cities and stuff. If this is a city-based bad guys, then I would have them be higher level. So like the entry level thugs in these groups would be like level 1 or 2, right? They would be at least as good as like a level 1 hero. So not level 1 quarter. So mechanically just shift everything up a little bit. Um, yeah, I would definitely recommend that. I wouldn't have anything higher than like maybe the gang leaders would each be like level 12, like level 12, maybe 14, like that kind of thing. They would be like the high end of people in this city, right? Okay, so these minions. Okay, well those are minions. Okay. Serveur. So we're getting a little bit too cute, I think, with the names. Server. Delivery. Move 4 spaces or more equals advantage on one attack. Okay, that's cool. Horn and skewer. On crit prone. Okay. Chef. Okay, so these guys have a lot to do with movement. Okay, so these guys have a lot to do with movement. So rather than armor, because they're little and small, probably none of them should have armor, unless there's like one big guy who's like has heavy armor or something like that. They should probably use their speed to their advantage. Maybe like maybe they have some ability where they can like move, like, and if they're out of range, the attack misses, like something like that. Maybe. Like how could they or maybe opportunity attacks have like an extra or rolled with one extra disadvantage, like something like that, so they can move in and then move away, that kind of thing. Because if they're small, they're not going to be standing toe to toe, they're going to be coming in and leaving, right? That kind of thing. And thematically, if they're small and fast, they're probably not going to be wearing heavy armor or medium armor or anything like that. So incentivize them moving like that, and when they move in, I think they're gonna make just one attack. They're gonna make just one attack when they're moving. You call that cooking? Attacks from all hooks against seasoned enemies have advantage. Okay, so what is seasoned? Um, marinade. Okay, so this is funny. This is clever. This is clever. But if I'm reading through these stat blocks, I don't know what seasoned does yet. We should. Attacks from all hooks against seasoned enemies have advantage. Marinade, one use. Okay, I'm starting to put it together. Pan and cleaver. Okay, so I'm just thinking through how to make. So I like this idea. So the chef basically marks this guy. Yeah. So the chef marks this guy and gives everybody else advantage. That's cool. And that makes sense why their attacks would rely on crit and stuff. And actually, if these guys are small, it doesn't make sense that on crit it would be prone. On crit, they should do like extra damage, right? So on crit plus 10 damage, on crit plus 5 damage, like that kind of thing would make more sense. It's like these guys are all about moving and speed and critting, right? And these guys are about being tough and whatever. I haven't read these yet. Grappling. So it would make sense that these guys are knocking prone. That these guys shouldn't be knocking prone if they're small. Okay, so I would move this up first. So we could probably so combine this with this. So or DC 10 Dex and then colon or seasoned colon. Actually, if this takes his whole turn, range 4, don't even make a Dex save. Don't even make a deck save. So, all right. So this is what I do. Forget the one use because it's hard for me as a GM to remember if I have like 3 chefs, like which one used it or which one didn't. It would be if no target is seasoned, season, right? And then season is all attacks against them have advantage until crit, that kind of thing. Because the heroes can remember if they're seasoned or not, if they've been crit or not. They will remember that, right? Um, so that kind of thing. So we can have a whole thing full of chefs. They're seasoning a guy. We already have someone seasoned, right? So I don't want to draw attention away from the main course by seasoning this thing, over seasoning this guy over here. That guy's seasoned. Everybody's gonna go attack him because they're so fast. Everybody can run and over and attack him, get a good crit, deal a bunch of damage. And then like that kind of thing would be pretty cool. Maybe not so don't take this as gospel. Like just sort of like we're just cooking. We're cooking together, right? That kind of thing might be cool. Or it's like seasoned for one round. Seasoned for this round. And then all attacks against that guy has advantage. So like the chefs always go first because they'll run up, they will season people, right? Yeah, maybe that. Maybe that. So it's clear if no one is seasoned, season. And then what is that? Colon. All attacks from all allies have advantage against this guy. And then so I know I know when to do both of these. And yeah, just make one attack. Unless there's like some really good reason to make it 2 attacks. Again, I'll show you the troll. So the troll, because trolls, like you're never gonna fight like 6 trolls at a time. You'll fight like 2 trolls. So they have to be able to attack twice, so that they can do claws, and on crit they can knock prone. Then they can bite. So the troll has to attack twice. The hill giant doesn't have to attack twice, but because it's so big, um, it has so many levels that like we sort of need the distinction between like the 1 range attack or the 2, so that kind of thing makes a little bit more sense, right? So look at the troll as a good reason to have 2 attacks. If there isn't a good reason, then just do 1. Like the warg does. So always crits when attacking a grappled creature. On hit, grappled. Yeah, so if I was going to redo the warg, I'd probably make the redo the warg to be a little bit easier. So attacks deal, instead of rolling to attack, deal 8 damage versus a grappled creature. So like 6 plus 2. Just deal max damage. That would make it a little bit easier to do. Okay, Hill Ranger. Poultry Hunter's invisible until attack. Great Kudo Bow. So I wouldn't have 3 things that a single guy can do. Make it as easy on me as possible. Yeah. So like this guy is probably like the maximum amount of complication that I would have, and I would, and if this guy's that complicated, I might make this guy even simpler. This guy might be fine. But I'll probably have all of these guys just have a base speed of 8, if they're small, maybe. Poultry, so invisible to attack, big bow, net, meet grapnel. Is that supposed to be grapnel? Move 10 and double train. Probably 1 or 2 too many things here. I like where you're going with it though. All right, so let's take a look at the jaws. Hooks are always priority target. Ogre can eat an adjacent milk minion for free to attack with advantage once. What? Milks. Level 1 quarter small. Teeth and tools. Okay. Oh, so these are all teeth flavored. Why? So I don't understand what this is. Milks. The hooks. Milk. So that does make sense. So is a milk that's like someone in the that's someone in. So like this ogre is going to eat his buddy. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, so maybe these guys, just thematically, these guys could be D4 and focus on crit. Like they want to crit. Like, that's all they want to do. They want to get in, they want to do a crit, and they want to get out. These guys are like D8s or D10s, D12s, right? And you can balance the the modifier. So instead of like 2D8, it'll be like 1D12 plus 4 or something like that. Just to sort of show like these guys are like never gonna crit. But like he doesn't have to crit you to knock you prone. Like if he hits you, you're prone. That feels more appropriate, right? But again, I would tweak it to not be level 1 necessarily. Like these guys are all about knocking prone, these guys are all about critting. That would make sense. um, an ogre can eat an adjacent milk minion for free to attack with advantage once. I don't love that. It doesn't make sense that you would eat your buddy. And like when would I do that instead of just attacking with the minion? Like I as a GM, like I'm not sure which is better. It's sort of like 3d6 plus 7 or 2d12 plus 4. Like I don't know which one is better. Like it's unclear to me. Like having a minion or attacking with advantage. I think just having the minion might be better. So like why yeah. So what would the jaws do instead? Maybe they can throw minions to like reposition them. That kind of thing might be fun. They can throw a minion to reposition them. The minion can move further or uh, something like that. Like that makes more sense. Like yeah, like the little dudes are like the littlest guys. Okay, yeah. Yeah, so let's really lean into if this is a little guild and the big guild or gang. D4 guys, the hooks are the D4 guys, and I would change the hooks. The jaws is cool. The hooks, I grab a thesaurus or something, like find a cool name. D4 guys, D12 guys, like we're really like shifting to the extremes. The jaws like they will throw their own friends. Um, that kind of thing would be pretty sweet. And maybe hmm, I don't know. Maybe their thing is like they can. So one of the monsters that I made is they can move if anytime they move through the space of a prone creature, they just automatically deal damage. Like it's like squish. So like maybe their thing could be any one of the jaws who moves through the space of a prone creature just deals them 2 damage, or like something like that. Um, and it could be like masticate, like they're chewing up her with their feet. I don't know, like step pulverize. I don't know. You come up with some cool thing. It doesn't all have to be. It doesn't all have to be like soup. Like the names of the things should be clear. Um, yeah. So on the one hand, I do like the theming. So I'm sort of going back and forth. I like the theming of molars, canines, and sizers. Um, but we are sacrificing some clarity for it. Because they're all ogres, right? Like all of these are halflings, and this is more like the rank. And one thing also, and I know I didn't read through all of this. If these are going to be guys that we're going to be defeating, okay. So two different things we could do here. Let me go to. Let's go to here. Okay, so we want the heroes, and I don't know. You guys see that? So if we're going to be so we want our players to feel like heroes. We don't want them to just feel like they're just murdering people who live in this city. Okay. So either this gang is really, really bad. Like both of these gangs are really, really bad. They are bad, bad, bad. So you have freedom to defeat, to kill, to whatever anybody in any of these gang members because they're just the worst, right? Or there could be special rules for these gangs. When a gang member drops to 0, they're just knocked out and then they're arrested. right? That you could just have like a cool little call out box because like the cute little halflings, they're like, but they work at like the hotel or whatever, right? And these ogres, like, yeah, they're bad, but like they're not like bad. They just sort of like, rough you up or whatever. They'll take your lunch money. So like if you knock this guy to zero, like if they defeat you, they're not gonna kill you. You're just knocked out. They leave you like face down in the alley. If you kill them, they're knocked out. Like that kind of thing will make combat in a city in an urban environment much more palatable. Um, I would probably lean more towards this one. Like they're bad guys, but sort of like the bully in school bad guy. You want them to get what's coming to them, but like you don't want them to die, right? That sort of thing. Um, so with creatures like this that you don't really want to kill, or like you're in an urban environment, if you're heroes and you just go around like kill, like you just kill, like you're level 5, so you'd have to have like 12 or 12 enemies, 12 monsters that you're fighting against. You're just like there's just like a dozen bodies in the city, like that. That doesn't take very long to where like you're the most wanted. Yes, yeah, that should definitely be in this description, like special rules for this monster set. That would be really, really cool. That would be really, really cool. So it's more like not quite slapstick, but like uh uh play theater, like theater fights, that kind of thing. Like the Jets and the other guys. I don't know what the other guys are. That kind of thing where they're snap fighting and like it's sort of fun, silly. Take that for what that's worth. I like the I really like the, I I really do like the idea of like two different gangs, and like each gang, like you can side with this gang and then you'll fight with these guys, that kind of thing. I really like that. Jets and the Sharks. There we go. Yeah. Can force level lower allies to interpose. That's cool. Love that. Cold plated knuckles. I love that. And okay, it makes sense that this would be a times two. Boom, boom. Because like left hook, right hook type of thing. So that makes sense. Free real estate. Move to a space occupied by a hero. 1d. This is so funny. I really like this. Free real estate. That's such a cool idea. I really like this. I really like this, man. Move to space occupied hero. 26. Push a hero 3 spaces in one direction. I really like this. I really like this. I think we could tweak it. Keep the idea. Like I really like the idea of free real estate. You just come and take the space that they're in. Move to a space occupied by a hero. I would say throw them. Pick them up and throw them. Yeah, pick them up, throw them. Some distance. Maybe that would be cool. Yeah, that'd be cool. But if we do that, we have to be clear. Like, when would we use this versus this? Yeah. So this guy can force his lower level allies to interpose, um, uh, and he can throw people. And like all of these guys, they can throw the lower level allies to do different things. I don't know. Yeah, maybe remove the damage and just have it be forced movement. Yeah, that kind of thing would be cool. They land prone. Maybe it could be a dex save. So maybe it could be a dex save. I don't know. Yeah. So this could be the damage one and like the movement one, but it should still be clear why we should use this versus this. Or maybe this guy, like this is all this guy does. He only throws people. He walks up to you and he chucks you. And then he forces his allies to interpose for him. That might be the thing. So he throws you, you'll land prone, and then he's gonna try to walk over you using his ability. Yeah, that would be cool. And then like maybe this guy, if we're going with sort of like the West Side Story type of thing, where like we're not really going to kill, we're just going to like, just going to teach him a lesson. This guy can have gold-plated knuckles instead of a cleaver, because like a cleaver will like, it's gonna hurt you. So I like this. I like this. Uh, Blood Frenzy, when bloodied, frightens adversaries, saves against him or disadvantage. Saves against our disadvantage. I don't understand that. When bloodied, it frightens adversaries. Oh, Blood Frenzy. Okay, so I would just say like, just give me a DC instead of saying saves against or disadvantage. Just like if the DC would normally be 12, he's super scary, so the DC's 14 or whatever, something like that. When bloodied, all enemies gain frightened. Or when bloodied, all enemies make a DC, 14 will save or become frightened. That would be more clear. Like frightens, like if frightened shouldn't just happen, that you should give the players the ability to save. Buffalo Cleaver, Big Snack, move to adversary, grapple. Yeah, so if we have this, this guy could be like just like a simple like movement guy, like this guy's throwing them, knocking them prone. This guy, like maybe he could be like 1d12. I'm not sure. Like there's just a lot going on. I want it to be simple enough. Like each monster, like solo should be very, very simple. But once you combine this guy with this guy, like ooh, now like that's really cool. So like if we have it like the jaws, anytime they move over, anytime they move through the space of a prone enemy, they just automatically deal damage. Then we know what they're trying to do. They're trying to knock you prone, right? And maybe instead of on crit knocked prone, maybe if the damage total, like if it's a d12, like if they roll a 10 or higher, they just knock prone. Like whether they take damage or not. So like you say you have like a big paladin, a big Oathsworn with a shield, he's got like 20 armor, but if I roll 10 or more, you're sure you block the damage, but you're still knocked prone. That kind of thing would be pretty sweet. Anytime I roll a 10 or higher, so 10, 11, 12, you're going to be knocked prone. Or anytime I throw you, you're going to be knocked prone. Maybe this guy could have something. I don't know. Keep cooking on it. All right. I hope that's helpful. Keep cooking on that one. Some really cool ideas so far. I'm impressed with the quality so far. Really creative ideas that I hadn't thought of for some of these. Cool ideas. The Faithful Harvest still in progress. Okay, so say what this is. A cult. Okay, so cult members. So cultists. Okay, so cultists. So this is cultists, a group of cultists. Meant to be used as a set of villains behind a mystery in urban area. Okay, so this is like a monster group slash adventure. It sounds like, or at least like a seed of adventure. Yeah, Pebble Music, great. Great ideas, man. I never would have thought of like two rival gangs as a monster group, but it makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense. And I like how they act as a contrast to each other as well to really like pump up. All right, so let's stop. Let's see if I can review this one in 10 minutes or not. Cultists, sect, meant to be used instead of villains beyond a mystery urban area. Okay. They speak in farming metaphors. They have a very dark side. At night, they abandon their monastic garb, put on disguise, sow distrust throughout the community. Truth, they are the inevitable reaping. The servants of a mostly dead god known as the Unraveling. The Unraveling is a cool name for a dead worshipful thing. What remains? Okay, so I feel like you guys could mostly cook on the lore. I'll take a look at the monsters. Tactics, try to split the party both in and out of combat. Interesting. That's cool. Okay, minion, stab. Okay, so they're D4 creatures. Reaper. Reaping knife, 2 attacks. Again, unless there's a reason for 2 attacks, make it 1. 2d4 plus 3. Plus 3 additional if target is unraveling. I might phrase this as plus 6 instead if target is unraveling. Do they have a group ability? It says see unravel below. Okay. Always split the party. Let's see how it plays out. Okay, so simple attacking guy. If debuffed, then it deals. He does some extra stuff. 2d4. Yeah, I would make this 1 attack. Aura of unraveling targets within. So this is what I do. I would do. So maybe the numbers don't exactly work out. I would do 1d4 plus 5 because that's easy, and then plus 10 instead if they're unraveling. 1d4 plus 10. That's a little bit easier, and it would just be 1 attack instead of 2 attacks. So the numbers might not be exactly correct, but I would tweak it somewhere in there. Aura of unraveling, target within 4 spaces must save. So I would say reach 4, DC 10 will save, or unraveling for 1 round. That's how I would phrase that, more or less. Unraveling, I'm so lonely if possible, must in your turn at least 1 square further away from the closest ally. That's interesting. Or cursed knife. Oh, I see. Okay. All right. So let me file. So I'm going to make a copy of this and show you how I would rephrase this because it's a little bit confusing reading it, but I think I get what you're going for. Okay. So I would do cursed knife. This. Okay, so this is makes a lot more sense since it's not interrupted with this unique condition. Curse knife, 1d4 plus 4 on damage, dazed, or unraveling. Okay, so why? So the question is so this is another 2d6 plus 7 or 1d12 plus 8. Which is better? Probably the 2d6 plus 7. Okay, so 2d6 plus 3 or 1d12 plus 7. Which is better? I don't know. They're kind of the same thing, right? So when would I use this versus this? And is this even worth? Is it even worth me doing this? Is it worth a hero making a will save? Because it doesn't deal any damage. Targets within 4 spaces must save. Oh, everybody. Okay, everybody within. Okay, so everyone within reach 4 must save or be unraveled for 1 round. Okay, what does that mean? So I would do this. Okay. Reach 4, or we could just say this. Enemies within. Now I'll do this. Reach 4. Must enemies within reach 4. There we go. DC 10 will save or unraveling. Something like that. Must in your turn at least 1 square. Okay. Move 2 spaces. Okay, so something like that, I think is what you're going for. So like where they can't interpose or something. Is that is? Hmm. I don't understand what the point of the movement is. Is it so that they're out of the range of interposing or something? I like the idea of like it just being a condition that like other dudes like will make more damage, cause more damage, that kind of thing. Yeah, yeah. Okay, let's keep reading. So let's go back to the original. Terrible Reaper, Terrible Cleaver, 2D. Okay, this or this. Yeah, so I would just I would just have this one or just have this one. So is 1d8 plus 3 better? And then I can move them up to 6 spaces. So being thrown 6 spaces. So if the bad guy's here and the hero's here and there's a hero next to him, I can throw him 6 spaces. I'll throw him through like through this guy. So they're both so he's taking 1d8 plus 3, and then they're both going to be taking they're both going to be splitting 6d6 damage. So I'd rethink this. Or it could be like throw them into an unoccupied space within reach 6 so that you don't so it's not forced movement damage, it's like something else, but I would have it only that. But why would this guy throw anybody? Okay. All right. So I think I'm understanding what happens. Okay. So this should be so let me go back to here. So what I would do for this 1d4 plus 3. Okay. 1d12 plus 3 plus 3 if target is not within if target has no ally within no ally something like this. Okay, so not exactly this, but something like this. Okay, so normally this guy deals 1d4 plus 3 damage, but if I'm able to like make it such that this guy's all alone, then I just deal more damage. That kind of thing is cool. Yeah, no adjacent allies, that kind of thing. That sort of thing would be cool. Or and then like this guy's whole thing is Curse Knife, 1d4 plus 4 on damage instead of dazed. We don't really care about dazed. Move them 3 spaces, that kind of thing. And then we don't have to worry about all this unraveling business. So like it's curse. The curse is it makes them move. Yeah, if target is isolated. Yeah, that's cool. Target is isolated. No adjacent allies. That kind of thing. And like, so this is isolated is like a quasi condition. And it makes sense. So I don't have to like interpret like what does unraveling mean. So you can move them 3 spaces. So the curse is that you make them move. And then if they're a martial character, it makes them isolated, and in order for them to hit you, they have to spin an action to move next to you again. With this guy, so it's eating up their action economy, and it's giving this bonus without being too confusing. You see, and like once I read this, like I know immediately how I'm supposed to run these guys. 1d4 plus 4, and then this guy. Instead of just moving them 3 spaces, you move them 6 spaces. So toss them to an unoccupied space. So it's not about like forced movement damage. So I would just get rid of this. It's only about moving them to be all on their own. So this guy can move them like really far away. Perfect Disguise. Beggarly Reaper counts as visible until they attack. Okay. Undamaged Poisoned. I don't think these guys fit poison. So this could be if isolated. If isolated, maybe not more damage, maybe like afraid, fear, like gain fear, something like that. Something like this could be cool. Like fear makes more sense for them moving 3 spaces. It can't. Well, it's like no, like I move them 3 spaces. It's move them 3 spaces, so that I don't have to worry. Like the players don't all have to like talk amongst themselves. Like, oh, I'm moving here. Oh, but then I'm not within like 1 space of you, or like whatever, like that sort of thing. Yeah. So this guy counts as invisible until he attacks. That's cool. Or DC 14. Something like that might be cool. Insight check to detect him. I don't know. Maybe yes, maybe no. So this guy, I don't know that he would poison. This doesn't feel like a very poisony kind of faction. Like fear seems pretty cool. So they gain fear for 1 round. Is it fear? Is it fear or is it something else? Let's go to the conditions. Frightened. They're frightened. Frightened for 1 round. So this guy is a controller rather than like a big damage dealer, maybe. That could be cool. And again, whoever did this one, it's not. Please don't think like, oh, you have to do exactly this. It's like we're just cooking. These are just ideas to sort of streamline things. I like the idea of if they're isolated. So this guy benefits from being from isolated targets. This guy makes them isolated. This guy makes them isolated in a different way, which feels cool. This guy benefits from them being isolated. Words of unraveling. All within earshot. Cool. For 2 turns. Nobody likes you if possible. Must your turn. Okay, so yeah, I would tweak this guy. Okay, so all. Okay, so this guy should be like both. So this guy can make them isolated. This guy and this guy benefit. Okay, let me. These 2 guys can isolate dudes. This guy and this guy benefits from heroes being isolated. This guy can choose. If the heroes are clumped up, I can isolate multiple all at once. And if they're already like that, then I can spook them real good. And all right, so so I would do something like this. All isolated heroes within reach 6 suffer, X damage. Bam. Okay. And then this, all heroes within reach 6. And I wouldn't necessarily phrase it this way, but this is the right idea. Make a will save. Or you can move them up to 4 spaces. Okay, so like this guy can just move the dudes around wherever. So he can move multiple heroes, or he can damage multiple heroes. So he could be a setup guy or another guy. That kind of thing could be cool. So it would have to be an or here. Again, not exactly this, but something like that, where we're just cooking. Okay, level 5, solo guy. Okay, under development. Okay, so I like the idea. I like leaving leaning into isolation. I don't know about the Faithful Harvest thing. inevitable. Like, there's some cool ideas. The unraveling, inevitable reaping, faithful harvest. I guess it's cool. I'm not sure. I'll have to. I'll let you cook on that a little bit longer. But the ideas, the mechanics, I think are pretty sweet. Okay, Sanjaric, quick question: did you capitalize spaces in the Nimble format? I don't think so. No, no caps. Written step block instead of image. Either way is fine. They should be simple enough to where either way would work. Okay, lust demons. So I don't love the theme of this. So a large portion of boomers, like the who will have children or grandchildren who want to play, baby boomers who want to play D&D or D&D like things. They grew up in the 80s when there was the big satanic panic, that kind of thing. So if there is anything like that in RPG, immediately like we're limiting the audience that this would appeal to. So can we take whatever ideas are here and like eliminate the sinful stuff, the demon stuff, and the lust stuff? Like we could probably make that pretty cool. So we could probably keep a lot of the ideas of the mechanics without making it something that like a lot, maybe 25% of the population like just wouldn't want to even like touch, right? So I think I think we have an adventure that has, okay, so we have Incubus, Succubus. So instead of lust in demons, we say infernal allure. At the start of their turn, heroes make a DC 15 will save or become allured. The GM spends one of your actions. And then, so it's pretty high will save. But then they gain advantage for each failure of this encounter. So some guy who has disadvantage on will saves, right? DC 15, they'll never hit it. But each time, so the first time they'll roll a disadvantage, so they'll roll 2 and they'll take the lower. And the next time they'll just roll 1. The next time they'll roll 2 and they'll take the higher of the 2. So each time it gets easier and easier and easier. So it's not like a permanent thing. So like the lure sort of starts to wear off. That kind of thing is where I started with that. Demons are demons. Yeah, yeah. So it's just it's something that you want to be careful about. Sort of like pets and children. Like certain things are just sort of like off limits for a lot of people, and I would be careful about this kind of thing. So with these guys, like I think they're infernal blood engines, or they're called fiends, rather like they're stench fiends rather than stench demons, like that kind of thing. Same idea, or similar idea, but not something that would be grossly offensive to huge people. Like you can't stop from offending everybody, right? But I would be careful about some of these things. Okay, so let's take a look at the mechanics. Let's take a look at the duders. So it looks like you guys are like definitely following like a lot of the thing. Increase in difficulty, decrease in difficulty, super cool. Playing with them, reborn as demons. Okay, lesser incubus, choose twice. Okay, it's okay. Seductive appearance. Attack on this demon has disadvantage. Okay, that's cool. That is a cool cool thing, and it makes sense. Like, why would I attack like this pretty person or whatever? Yeah, it's just a wording thing. The Kinks and Cantrips book did big numbers on Kickstarter. I don't know anything about that. Lesser incubus. Nightmare strings. After eating a dream, fly 12 spaces. That's a cool idea. I don't know what it means yet. Okay. So I would move this and just make that part of the eating a dream thing. Eating a dream, removes frighten, then fly 12. I would just do that. You could fly up to 12. Because if I read this, I don't know what that means yet. We could just have that as part of this thing. Okay, choose twice. Nightmares, 2d4 plus 5, range 12 on crit, frightened. Okay. Frightened creatures only. 2d8 plus 12. Range 24. So nothing has range 24. That's just too far. Because like so if so it looks like this guy wants to attack from very, very far away. Okay, so he's 12 away. So that's 2 actions to get to this guy. So he's 12 space away. He attacked you. Now you're frightened. And then he does Eating a Dream, and he attacks you. He does this, and then he moves 12 more spaces. So now he's 24 spaces away. It's going to take me it's going to take me 2 full turns just to catch up to him. Two full rounds to catch up to him, and he could just fly 24. He could move 12 spaces away and then move 24 spaces away. So this could just be like a really unfun thing to do. So I would cut all the ranges substantially. So ranged attacks should be within like 1 or 2 movements. So like 8 is good, 6 is fine because you can like get there in 1 movement. 8 is fine also, but we don't want the GM to be kite. We don't want the optimum thing to be kiting, right? Because then, like, if you have like a table that's this big, like they're just physically moving off the table. I like the idea of like doing this thing and then like setting up a thing and then like getting a payoff. But unless it is like a very, very big creature, unless it is like a very, very big creature that you're not going to have multiple of, like a troll, like a level 10 troll, and just thematically, like there's a troll under a bridge, not like 12. Like you might face 2 trolls. So if there's a level 3 lesser guy, he should just do 1. Like he can set up frightened. But it shouldn't be frightened if you want it to be like some custom condition, like allured or like whatever, like, taunted. Like if it wants to be like some custom condition X that he sets up. Because if they're like alluring and seductive or whatever, they shouldn't also be frightening. The sort of like opposites. So nightmares does this thing, and on crit, they're X, some condition, and then this one they get to do this. Okay, that's fine. Now my beautiful face, when crit or bloodied, change to a monstrous appearance, lose seductive appearance but gain fly speed 9. That's interesting. So this is really cool. I really like this. When crit, I would just say when bloodied. When bloodied, changed. When bloodied, lose seductive appearance. When bloodied, gain monstrous appearance instead of seductive appearance. Gain a fly speed 9. Why would they need a fly speed of 9? So I kind of like that. So this so not my beautiful face is already an ability. I would change that, but that idea is cool. So when they're not bloodied, deal a little bit of damage. When they are bloodied, deal extra damage. Yeah, that's cool. That's enough. That's enough already. Nightmare swings. After night terrors or monstrous streams that fly 12 spaces, controlling nightmares. Force a frightened creature to interpose for it. Okay, that's cool. So I wouldn't do frightened, because frightened is a pretty powerful condition. It should be like an allured creature or whatever. Because why would you interpose for a thing that you're scared of? So like frightened has to be, so frightened requires, just to go back to this, so frightened requires a thing to be frightened of. So if it's this guy, so disadvantage on rolls when the source of fear is nearby. So if this thing is applying the fear, then you're afraid of this thing that is also alluring, which I don't know, it makes sense. So it just pick like some other word, some other word for it. So they apply that condition and then they utilize the condition. That is a cool theme, but I think needs to be massaged a bit. Fly speed is for usual appearances. Okay, so just thematic. Okay. The idea for Incubus is to use your dreams against you and comment that you need to use fear. So it could be like, dream thief. Like if you had a dream stolen, if you've had a dream stolen, then you can do X, Y, and Z. But frightened is already a thing. So we don't want to use that word. Just like for like sizes and stuff. Like you don't want to say there's this huge, like a huge caterpillar came, because huge is actually a term of art. It is a game term. If we don't actually mean that it is like 15, it's like 15, takes up 9 squares, then we don't use huge. We can say big, that sort of thing. Um, cannot miss, and also just to continue along that vein, frightened me a speed had when moving closer to it. So a frightened thing. So frightened is a good condition, but like ranged creatures should have frightened because it makes it harder for the hero to move closer to you. So it keeps you safer. So you wouldn't have a hero within interposing range typically if they're frightened of you, because it's easier to move away, but it's harder to move closer. Okay, now your face. Okay, ignores armor. I would be very careful about ignores armor. I wouldn't do ignores armor for heroes because that's a pretty big deal. I'd be very careful about that. But vicious is cool. So like this one could be vicious. So they could just both be vicious. But well, I would really only do vicious if like you're leaning heavily into the crit. Like, so this could be like 2d8 plus 10, and this could be like 2d20 plus 10. Like, oh, anytime you see the DM rolling d20s as their damage dice, like, all right, that's pretty spooky. Greater succubus. So same idea is just sort of like increasing it a little bit. Die for me, for suitor, or listing in harm, danger post for it. That's a cool idea. Cool idea. Okay, has minions. Carnal Claw, Vicious Embrace. So it almost feels like these should be swapped. Would you have an alternative for Ignore Armor? So there's a new thing that I've been toying with. So instead of ignoring armor, that takes away the agency of the hero, you can just have it deal more damage. It could just be deal more damage, or it could like slow them, or it could do something else thematic. It could pose some other condition. Just look at the condition, see what sort of makes sense thematically. Yeah. But something that I am toying with is having like a new. Let me see if I can pull it up without showing too much. Okay, so this is something that I'm using. So there is a new monster type that I'm working on. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. Give me a second. Sorry, guys, I wasn't prepared to show all these. Okay, so I'm working on constructs right now. So here are some of the constructs. So there is this Spire Hulk. So this guy, this thing is like really, really fast, and it has a rapier. And then there's this Breaker Hulk who's like slow and heavily armored and has like this big hammer. Okay. So what they do, so the Spire Hulk versus evasive creatures or evasive heroes. So if a hero's dex is bigger than its strength, so like a cheat, a Zephyr, that kind of thing. If you're attacking a hero whose dex is higher than, let me see if I can pull it up actually, because I forgot what it was. Then like something happens. Okay, so the Spire Hulk, it ignores armor of evasive targets. So like they are so fast that if someone's main mode of avoiding damage is being fast and moving out of the way, no, like this guy's faster. So you can't defend if that is the way that you defend. So if you're going to ignore armor, like it should be like for that kind of reason. but I'm not sure if that's exactly how it's going to look. It might just be like advantage against evasive targets. Because like you're fast, but I'm faster. So like they can still defend if they want, but I'm gonna have advantage against the attack, right? Whereas the Breaker Hulk, he has advantage versus tanky targets. So like targets whose strength is higher than his dex. So like if you're just gonna stand there and raise your shield, like no, like like my hammer is designed to deal with heavily armored dudes, like that kind of thing, or advantage 2 versus tanky targets. So those are some ideas that I'm like actively working on. So they're still cooking. They're still cooking, but like those are some keywords if you guys want to play with that kind of thing. Then maybe that could be interesting for you. So like if you want to do that, it could be so like if their will, so like this monster group feels like it would do a lot with creatures whose will is low, right? So if your will is like 12 or less, this happens. Rather than like making them make a will save all the time, like you could save time. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Like we'd really have to cook on that a little bit and think about it. But this, it feels like Vicious Embrace. So Vicious Embrace is the thing that grapples. It's like I'm grappling you, and then Carnal Claws, like I squeeze you with my claws. That it reads more clearly to me the other way, but maybe not. On crit, deal 1 wound. Ooh, that's pretty nasty. Greater Incubus, Greater Succubus. So up until now, the Incubus is lower level than the Succubus, but now the Succubus is lower level than Incubus. I'd wonder. I'm curious why that is. Yeah, so I would tweak. So I would start with these two. I do like the idea of the Succubus like becoming nastier, like phase 1, phase 2 type of thing. That's cool. This guy I think needs a bit of work. Yeah, it's fine if he's the ranged one. Yeah, I would tweak him a little bit. I would keep cooking on that one. Cool ideas though. All right, marionettes. Ooh, this sounds creepy. So I'm thinking of like constructs. Crafting arcane life, ordinary puppets. Okay, lore. Okay, puppet minion, puppet lackey. Okay, so they don't have any group ability that I can see. I'd like to see some sort of group ability. Oh, group 1 ability. Heroes may attack your strings instead of you. Where's armor? If an attack deals 3x monster level slash damage to your strings, you are knocked prone. I see. Okay, so they're small. So if it's small, I probably wouldn't have it be D8. I would have this be like a D4 or D6. Kobolds are D4, I think. Goblins are D6. Bandits are D8. Puppet lackey. So it's basically goblin or like bandit. If prone, bash 2d8 plus 4. Or if prone, 2d8 to all adjacent creatures, then stand up. Oh, that's funny. Okay, so yeah, if we're going to do 3 times. So, okay, so what I would do for this, I might give like each one of these like a strings tag. Like my arcane strings are equal to 5. So if this guy takes 5, slashing damage, they're knocked prone. I don't know. Okay, so this is whose is this one? You keep asking me. I don't know. Thugs. Marionettes is Trex. Hey, Trex. So for this one, okay. So there has to be a reason why I as a hero would want to attack the strings. Oh, just writing your notes. Okay. There should be a reason why I would want to attack the strings rather than the dude himself. Okay. So if I attack the strings, I assume if I attack the strings, it doesn't it doesn't it doesn't lower the hit points. Um, it's only slashing damage. I don't know. Okay, so just think of this out loud. So I'm a hero. It seems like the marionettes should have some cool puppet before they having strings. Yeah. If I'm a hero, if I attack the strings, I don't deal any damage, and unless I have some slashing thing, then like I'm wasting my turn. I'm wasting one of my attacks to just knock them prone, or I could just damage them. Like if they're dead is better than prone. So why would I just attack, right? So if we're making a cool mechanic, the incentive should be to interface with that cool mechanic, right? So like if there's an adventure, like there's this really cool rock that you can like interact with and do cool things, and like it damages them and does things. Well, we'll just go around the rock, and like all that cool design thought that I put into it is just ignored. So maybe it's like these guys have heavy armor unless prone. Like not that exactly. I'm just spitballing. So like if they're prone, they are unarmored, or something like that. I think that exactly shouldn't be it, because armor is like very annoying to deal with. I don't know. I don't know. Let me see. So I do like how I do like this. Okay, so this one is so. When I was reading here, I was like, I don't know if the juice is worth a squeeze. Okay, but this all of a sudden like makes it interesting enough to where, yeah, okay, I want to cook on this a little bit, because if they're prone, all the melee characters would want to, all the melee heroes would want to be next to me and attack and have advantage on their attack and deal me a bunch of damage. That's cool. Then I get to smack all of them and I stand up. That makes sense because I'm flailing and then I stand up. That is really cool. That is really cool. That's clever. Burn range 8. Do we get to sweater condition? Then ignite. Or 2d10 damage to all creatures in reach and smoldering creatures. Yeah, so this is another one of those sort of like, 2d6 plus 3 or 1d12 plus 7. It's unclear when I would want to ignite versus flame wheel. And ignite is this the same as the actual ignite? Is this the same as the actual ignite? It's this one. 40-10 to a smoldering target. I don't know. Like, so this is basically just like deal 40-10 damage to any creature, which is a lot, or 2d10 to all creatures in reach and smoldering creatures. Yeah, I don't know. So it's confusing when I would use all of these things. If I was doing this, I would just remove burn, just make this 40-10, or so 40-10 to one creature, or 2d10 to all creatures within reach 2. Like, yeah, so this just sort of confuses it. It makes it unclear how to. Yeah, using fire as a wooden puppet. Are these wooden puppets? Yeah. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it makes sense. Is it me? Choose a hero vulnerable to fire, but the chosen. Yeah, if they're vulnerable to fire, I don't think they would be using fire. Yeah. Vulnerable to fire, but the chosen hero also takes this damage. It's afflicting. That's interesting. So choose a hero. So should this puppet also look like that hero so that it's clear? Gain this modern condition. And then you and each adjacent creature takes 2d8 fire damage. Oh, okay, puppet effigy. Okay. Yeah, it's starting to make sense. It's starting to make sense. Gain this modern condition, then you and each adjacent creature takes 2d8 fire damage. So this guy, so how am I going to play this? So I'm going to choose Ragnar the Berserker. All right, I look like you. I'm going to run up next to 2 heroes. And then I'm going to give myself and Ragnar the Smolder condition. And then the 2 dudes that I'm next to are going to take 2d8 fire damage. It seems complicated, and I don't get the payoff. I don't understand the payoff. If we're going to be doing puppets, so like for me, puppets are kind of creepy. What was that Goosebump book? Goosebumps puppet book. The Night of the Living Dummy. Yeah, yeah. So like for me, like this is my childhood. So like, didn't live in okay. The Night of the Living Dummy. So like for me, these guys are creepy and like not a super fun fantasy. That said, could it be a cool thing? Could we make this like just into constructs? I think that might be cool. Could we make this into like forest gnomes who are doing all these like stabbing things? Like maybe could we reflavor this to like so I'm not going to encounter puppets like in the forest or in the jungle or underwater or in the desert or in the mountains. Like where would I encounter puppets? Like in the store of the puppet maker? Like in this one particular one-shot adventure? So ideally they would be like universal enough to be able to like, ooh yeah, it'd be cool. I could stick goblins here, I could stick goblins there. I could, I could sort of put them in more than one place. So could we take a lot of these ideas? Like I like the idea of it having like I like the idea of this creature having a weakness that the creature can then turn into a strength. Sort of like 5e tools. Sort of like the Ross's favorite monster in 5e, Frost. The Frost Salamander. The Frost Salamander has this weakness. So Frost Salamander is vulnerable to fire, but whenever it takes fire damage, its freezing breath recharges. So that is super duper cool. So if these guys have some vulnerability to X, it's bad things happen when they're knocked prone. That's cool. But when they're knocked prone, then they get to do some cool thing. Like that is a really neat ability. But the puppet thing isn't clicking with me. But I think there's something here. And then I get where you're going with like smoldering and stuff, but maybe it's not smoldering. Maybe it's something else. Like so, like these guys are applying some condition, and like other guys are having a payoff. Like the previous one that we were just talking about, or two monster groups ago, with the cult, where they're applying isolated, and like different cool things happen there. So maybe that's what we're going with. But if like prone or the arcane strings or whatever is the thing, like they should all sort of interface with that somehow. Either applying it or fixing it or something. I'm not sure. Puppet Giant, if not prone, deal 12 damage. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that's cool. Arcane wires. Heroes may attack wires instead of you. Ignore. So just this whole idea of like they can attack your wires instead of you. Like how would they find that out? Does the GM just say like, all right, okay, so these guys are puppets. They have wires like above them. You can attack them or the wires. That's not that. I don't know if that is a intuitive way to go about it, like changing the mechanics of attacking. Like I'm attacking this monster. Okay, you attack that monster. Are you attacking them or their wires? Okay, I'm shooting a fireball at this monster. Can I? Does it hit them and their wires? It just raises up sort of strange questions that might be hard to resolve. And if it was like so cool that it was worth resolving that and answering those questions, then like cool. But if it's like if it's just it just knocks prone and like sometimes it does a thing, I don't know how often they would do that because like if it's doing 12 damage to all adjacent characters and I'm adjacent to them and I just knock them prone, like why would I not deal damage to the guy? So I'm spinning an action to knock them prone. So I'm not dealing damage to them, and in return, all that happens to me is I don't get rewarded. I get punished for knocking them prone. Like I don't know. It seems a little bit discordant. Ventriloquism. 1d psychic damage to all enemies who can hear you. So that makes sense. 'Cause puppets are spooky. Then swap places with any creature. I don't know why that makes sense. I don't. So swapping places with any creature. I don't know how that makes sense with the puppet ballista. That seems not on theme. Puppet cavalier, cavalry charge. Then lance. Okay, so so these feel not very on theme. Puppet maniac, yep, that's on theme, but the second part of it doesn't feel on theme. Puppet giant. I don't know that makes sense because if is this a puppet or is this like a giant? Because like who? So it makes sense that like a puppet would be small, because like people make small puppets, right? But I don't know why it would make sense for a giant puppet. So like maybe keep some of these ideas, reskin it to be something else other than puppets. Like maybe these are dryads. You could have a giant dryad, a huge plant thing, a small dryad, like that kind of thing. Crazy dryads. You could have like Swiftthorn dryad that like runs really fast, and it could have piercing thorns. Like you could reflavor this to be more appropriate to fit in different areas and to make more sense thematically. Yeah, I'm not sure if that's the direction or not, but there's some cool ideas here. The tethered Tarask. But I would keep cooking on this one a bit. Keep cooking on that one a bit. Okay, so next one, Drow. Ooh, Drow. I think this one is from Gahash. Gahash. Drow from Gahash. I was over here all along. Yeah, it could be. Could be. I don't know. The whole puppet thing sort of creeps me out. Like not in like a cool like ooh spiders and zombies, Not in a cool like ooh vampires are creepy. Not in that kind of way. Just sort of like adult teeth on a baby doll kind of way. Drow. Cool. So Drow slave. I think I saw Drow slave somewhere. Slave minion. I would be careful about that just because people are like, I get it. Like these are bad guys. So bad guys can have slaves. A lot of people just don't want to play with that. So could it be? Could we have the same idea with a different word? Like maybe this is like a thrall or a husk or a this or a that. Like some sort of cannon fodder thing to where like the heroes don't feel bad killing this thing, right? Could you check the doc? I had a slightly late submission. Yeah. I just saw it. I think that one's next. I think that was next. Actually, it's not, but I'll pull it up. Okay, so the drought. Could this be like a Myconid servant type of thing? Like, okay, it's a servant, right? But they haven't like gone and enslaved some people. We just like if I'm going to like pay like $50 for a babysitter for the night so that my wife and I can go to my buddy's house to go play some D&D, and like we drive across town or we take off work and or whatever, like we're putting in some effort to go play this with our buds, and like we're scheduling around this, and then like, all right, guys, we're killing slaves today. um, this feels kind of bad, 10 minutes, 10 minutes tops, 10 minutes tops. You guys don't quote me on that. But could it be like some, empty husk of, fungal husk? Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I'll kill that. It's a bad mushroom. Like I'll do that. And then the drider, like they're doing bad things. And then like, could they have slaves that we free? Yeah, that feels heroic. Like that's less objectionable. But I'm not fighting them. I'm not going to be killing them. Yeah, and it makes sense. Why drows are bad guys? Like they come to the surface, they take people. Okay. So I am scanning through some methodical, cruel, calculating predators, all this sort of stuff. That's cool. Reconnaissance, ambush party, raiding party, all of that makes sense. All that makes sense. Um, slave, yeah, something else, something else. Spider minion, that kind of thing. Okay, inhabitants of the Underdark, while in sunlight or bright light. So I would remove this from the stat block. So stat block is what I need to run it. So inhabitants of the Underdark, like, oh, they only come out during night. Okay, that's fine. That would never happen in a combat encounter, because unless like they're not living on the surface, right? So excise that from the stat block and only have the combat related things for the drow. Because they would only ever fight in the dark. So this would never actually happen. While in sunlight or bright light, disadvantage on rolls, ignore blighted. Yeah, I just remove that. Cruel poisoner. Crits don't explode, but apply poisoned. Magical healing ends. If already poisoned, dazed 1. Okay, that's cool. You're invisible to your attack. So I would clarify. So /2x or shoot. Okay, so drow, I think because they're like elves, they've got 2 blades. It makes sense that they would do like //. If we wanted to make it easier, it'd be 1d6 plus 3 parentheses with advantage, right? Because they're dual wielding this, right? So that is their attack. And if they're going for crits and stuff, well, then that makes even more sense, right? So if their blade is poisoned, why would they be poisoned only on a crit and not when I'm damaged? So like if a snake like bites me in the arm, like it bit me, like I'm poisoned, like I've been envenomed, right? But if he like bites me like on the neck, like that's a critical hit. I'm still poisoned or envenomed or whatever the thing is. So let's think about if it makes sense. So so either on damage, poisoned, because that makes sense, or on crit, something else, but not on crit poison. Unless you can explain it in some way, like with a name or whatever. Sneak, invisible until you attack. Okay, so the sentinel. I wouldn't call this a sentinel. A sentinel is more like a guard, like a stalwart thing that is apparent and like guarding a thing. So like drow, sneaky boy, that kind of thing. So this could just be like the standard drow. Don't drows have like a stat block in 5e? Drow. Is there not just vanilla drow? Drow common. Okay, there's just a drow commoner. Drow bandit. Cultist guard. Noble. Okay. Oh, Where is it? Okay. So maybe just Drow. We just have it at Drow since there's no 5e equivalent. We can pick whatever level we want. I like that they're not armored. That's good. And I think the hmm. I'm thinking of like maybe it's like on crit like cannot defend. On crit cannot be defended. Like that would be cool. So like it's 1d6 plus 3, so there's not a lot of damage, but on crit like you can't block it, right? That kind of thing might be cool. And since they're attacking with advantage, they can crit more often, right? So like it's easy to block the damage and avoid the poison. But if I crit, I got you, like I hit you, you can't cope, you know, you can't stop it. That kind of thing would make more sense. Drider. So I don't think these guys should have sneak. Maybe something could have sneak, but not that. If it's a sentinel, not that. Drider. So that because that is like quite a good ability. Spider climb. Okay, so we would just have 8 climbing, or 8 climb instead of this. Shoot web, range 8, 1d6 on hit, restrained. That's fine. Rampage, 1d6 plus 20. I think Drider is a thing here. A CR6, is that CR6? I think a CR6. Yeah, CR6 would be a monster level 11. So just check the column there. So just make sure that so this Drider has to be a level 11, because if we're playing in the Underdark and we're using this stat block, we're playing like a 5e module, and it says Drider, we should be able to use this. Shoot web rampage, 1d6 plus 20. So rampage I would change the name. So rampage, maybe it could be like Envenom. Envenom sounds cool. And then 1d6 plus 20. So this makes sense. 1d6, if I hit, you know, extra damage. That feels right. Shoot web. So I would probably do both of these. So a Drider, like a level 11 dude, is like a big dude. It could be both of these. So yeah, it could be both of these. So shoot web and then rampage. So like this, then this. And then level 11, the DC should be 15. You can pick something that is like easier. So like just because we're doing a level 11 doesn't mean everything has to be this. So if we're gonna say like these guys are sort of like glass cannons, so we can pick like level 9 hit points, but level 13 damage. Or like level 9 hit points, but like they can restrain really easily. So that is where a lot of their stuff comes from. And if we're gonna do this, I would give this reach. I would give that like reach 2 at least. Because they're like big, you know, things they can. Elite warrior. So yeah, remove this. This makes sense since they're an elite warrior. Cruel poisoner. Maybe it could be like dual wielding, because like Drow, like if I think of Drow, I think of Drizzt Do'Urden, and I think he's always dual wielding, right? How do you spell Drizzt? Yeah, this dude is always dual wielding, right? Yeah, that's like his whole thing. So maybe like the ability could be like dual wielder. His attacks are made with advantage, and that's cool. And then you can do cool things off of crit, like his crits can't be defended. And that feels really nasty. That feels really cunning, really cool. Levitate. What? They can levitate? They can fly? Drow to be playing similar to the Lizard Folk Monster group? Maybe, but like the flavor's really different. Slash. Darkened a 2/2 area until end of his next turn. Hand crossbow. Okay. Drow mage. I'm trying to keep it to 10 minutes. I forgot to start the timer. Darkness, darken 3x3. Okay, so you're forcing people to move. I like that. Until the end of his next turn. I would just say for 1 round, because that is until the end of his next turn. Shadow double, 1 use, reaction, an ally. Okay, so having this and this and this as a reaction, and then choose one, and then I have to remember the darkness. Like, this is too much for one thing, so I would just remove both of these. And then shadow double is the ability. Okay, single use, once per encounter, whatever. An ally of the mage was actually a shadow double, and it's in fact located 2 spaces away. This attack. This may cause the attack too. This may cause the attack or effect to miss. I don't understand what that means. An ally of the mage was actually a shadow double. Oh, is this sort of like the hunter's decoy thing? Yeah, rephrase that. Yeah, like once per encounter you can make an attack miss. Cool. Like you can actually be 2 spaces away. That's sweet. I like that. Yeah, I do like that. And it should and if you're gonna make it even easier on me, like tell me when to use it. When crit reaction, or the first time you're crit, you're actually 2 spaces away. The attack misses. Blah 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 blah. Like tell me when to use it so that I don't have to figure out when. Or if you want to give the GM a little bit more leeway, you can explain that in advice of like when the best time to use it is. Okay, so yeah, having this, and remember this, and remembering to use this at the appropriate time, and then choosing one of these 3 things is like way too much for one monster, unless it's like a legendary monster. And then it should be like doled out, like this happens when you're bloodied, this happens when you're at your last stand, that sort of thing. And then like this is the best thing to do. If not, then this. Okay, so Venomous Arcs, range 12, 1d6 plus 15 poison damage on up to 2 different targets. Venomous Arcs, I don't know what a Venomous Arcs is. Venomous Arcs, 1d6 plus 15 poison damage. So tweak the name. So range 12, 2 targets, damage. Okay, so we're damaging 2 different targets. Range 6 for less damage in a 3x3 area. Dex save. Okay, so like a venom fireball. That's interesting. Okay, so there should only ever be. I would recommend only ever having 1 roll per attack. Okay, so heroes in a 3x3 area within range 6 make a dex save. If they fail, they take, let's just say 10 damage and are poisoned. All of them take 10 damage and are poisoned, and it'd probably be more if they're level 12. All of them take 15, 20 damage and they're poisoned. If they save, they take 10 damage instead. So that they're not having to roll and I'm having to roll. Because if I roll like 1, 1, and a 2, like that's pretty bad attack, right? And if they save on top of that. So if they're all rolling to make a dex save already, then I can all right, if you failed, you take 10 damage. If you and you're poisoned, if you succeeded, you take 5 damage. Pyrotoxin Surge, that is a cool name. 33 fire damage on a poison target, ending the effect. Oh, that is so cool. Okay. Yeah, that's really neat. That's really neat. I really like this. I really like this idea. This is super cool. There's too many things going on. There's too many things going on though. Drow Priestess. This is the coolest idea that you've had. That's really cool. Like, it's a cool idea when I feel like, I wish I thought of that. So they're poisoned. So you're poisoned. You get any healing. Any healing removes the poison. Or I could just set you on fire and that ends the poison. That is cool. That's really, really sweet. Pyrotoxin. Drow Priestess. Darkness. Sacrifice to choose thrice instead of twice. Choose twice. Okay, so if we keep this, I probably wouldn't, but if we keep this, it would be choose twice or sacrifice a minion to choose 1 additional time. Just because like this didn't make sense, so put this here. Choose twice. Spider Judgment. Range 12. Yeah, if these minions were spiders instead of slaves, that would both feel better and make more sense. And if we say envenomed instead of poisoned, envenomed would be cool because it can trigger all these different things without also like making them like disadvantaged and all these different things. Drider, I would have a medium armor. That's fine, but all the drow should probably not have armor. Priestess definitely shouldn't have heavy armor. They should all be unarmored. They're using their poison. They're using the disadvantage that they impose on the heroes to like keep their hit points for survivability. So for drow, what I would do is so like if we have like a level 10 drow, I would take the hit points of a level 8 drow. So it should have like 120 hit points. I'm gonna give them 90 hit points, right? But they can restrain with spiderweb and they can poison. So I compensate for all of like the annoyance of being poisoned, being restrained, with this other thing. So definitely don't have armor, and a level 13 priestess. A level 13 priestess should have 130 hit points. That would feel correct. Okay, blood sacrifice. Choose twice. Darkness, one use. Yeah, I would just move darkness down to here if we keep it, so that choose twice is the first thing. So choose twice. Spider Judgment, range 12, restrained in a 4x5 area. Escape. You see. Okay. I would call it like Web Blast, probably. Because like Spider, yeah, I don't know. I thought you would be summoning a bunch of spiders. Black Blood, reach 6, 1 wound on a poison target, ending the effect. Ending the wound or ending the poison? Black Blood. That's pretty nasty. Scream of Lolth. Let's check and see if Lolth is like a copyrighted thing. If it is, then it could be like Scream of the Spider Queen Scream, or we can use the Queen Aranya if you want to. I don't know, something like that. 46 psychic damage to everyone within reach 3. Can't be healed until next turn. That's cool. Almost certainly is, yeah. The Spider Queen's Scream. So 46 psychic damage and can't be healed. That's cool. Like, so that's nasty. That's really nasty. Can't be healed until next turn because you can't, like, the poison that you apply can't be removed. So that's cool. I would like to see some way for her to apply poison. So I don't think she has any way to really apply poison. Oh, this Fanglash, 36 plus 10. Treat the highest die. Roll its random die. That's cool. That's cool. All right, cool ideas. I think we could tweak them just a little bit to make them even cooler. All right, 8 minutes and 25 seconds, guys. I started that like 20 minutes in though. All right, 10 minutes. Mushed. Aberrant children, long forgotten frog god. Okay, frog boys. All right, so these are frog boys. Like don't call them that, but we like, yeah. Frog people. Much. I would change the name because much is hard to say. If I say much, I can't say it. The heroes are going to say much, like M-U-C-H. Is that what you mean? It should feel froggy. It should definitely feel froggy. The passive applies poison. Yeah, I think the passive needs to be changed to like dual wielding, and like, I don't know. I think it needs to be tweaked. Maybe it could stay the same if other things are tweaked. I don't know. Keep cooking on it. Yeah. Human. So these creatures resemble a combination of human-sized bipedal frog or toads with bat fangs and ears, small form. Okay. So I would just call these frog folk. Big ears. So like the description of it is going to be like there's gonna be a picture of it. So it looks like this. So like the GM already knows what it looks like. So like describe like what they do and stuff. Okay, tadpoles. All right, so let's look at the. We'll click on the lore a little bit later. General abilities, amphibian. Okay. So just remove that. That'll just be part of like the lore and stuff. When there is a king or queen, it will always oppose and receive full damage. Um, they will all they will always interpose for the king and queen. So the general abilities, maybe they could all have like a jump ability or something like that. And then like the king or queen, they can have the like your boys can interpose for you. That is what I would do. So like these aren't general abilities. Whoop, oops, sorry. So I don't think these are general abilities as much as like lore. Munch, munch. I wouldn't have jump under 6 spaces, leech, latch onto the creature you land on. The creature needs 1 action to remove it. I wouldn't have anything fancy with minions. So like the fanciest thing a minion can do um, is like interpose for someone, but like the minion interposing is like on the stat block of like the actual creature. Like the snake minion, they can attack from range. So it's like D8. They can attack up close or at range. So like that's the fanciest a minion can do. Sticky tongue. When hitting someone with its tongue attack, it can move up to 4 spaces to the creature. That's cool. Oh, that's really cool. Okay. Okay, so it's cool. Let's play it out though. Okay, so when would this ever happen? So if the hero and the mushed is 6 spaces or fewer away, the mushed would just move forward and just claw 1d6 plus 2. Okay. If it is too far, if it so this would only ever work. This would only ever be useful if they were 7 like this would only matter if it's like in a very narrow band. I think distance 7, yeah, something like that. Yeah. Mushed is frog in Mayan. That's cool. That's cool. And then so for the claws and tongue, I like that claws deals more damage and tongue deals less damage because it has like an additional effect. So what I would do is I would just call this sticky tongue. 1d4 damage. So like we have the big damage thing and the thing that is less damage but lets you move. Okay, so this guy wants to be close to you, right? So I would give it a lot more range. If this is like a human type of creature, so maybe the range. Okay, so what would be even cooler is cooler than me moving to you is me moving you to me. Okay, so the tongue could be like less damage, but I move you away from your party where they could interpose for you, right? Like me moving you out of position is much cooler. So maybe it could be that. But so similar to the bugbear, if we go to the goblins, so the bugbear has 2 abilities, so you could choose this or this. Like one is clearly better than the other, right? I would much rather do 2d6 plus 4 rather than 1d6 plus 2. This is twice as much damage, but this one has range, right? So if we're going to do this, 1d6, and I would increase the level range a little bit. So like this guy could be like level 1 or level 2. So this could be like 2d6 damage versus 1d6 damage, but I get to move you closer to me. Yeah. Brute rage issues. When enraged, they can move up to 4 blocks if it is in the direction of what enraged it. When enraged. What makes it enraged? Brawler can only attack in melee range. Okay, so yeah, we don't need to put that there. If it only has 1 attack and it doesn't have any range attacks, then that's all I can do. Okay, so these are frogs with claws. Okay, so yeah, so what makes it enraged? Hunter poison clones can be invisible until they attack, can become invisible again if it is force space from any enemy. That's cool. That's interesting. Can go hide. So it can go hide. Bye bye is a funny name. Spit. Short-sighted. Cannot attack enemies. Cannot attack enemies that are at least 3 spaces near. I'll clarify what this means. It feels like this is supposed to be a ranged attack. Poison claws. Make. Okay, so incapacitated. I would definitely not have incapacitated for an hour. Definitely not that. Like things that make you skip your turn is not super fun. So I would tweak that. Get in here. When hitting someone with a tongue attack, force them to make. Yeah, so I would just say just move them. So like moving is not so bad to where it makes where they would have to make a strength save. Just move them. Or it could be like move someone that your size or smaller. So like this guy's large, yeah, you can just any medium creature move him. So like this guy who is medium, yeah, you can move any small heroes to you. Right? So like this guy picks on small creatures. He picks on creatures that are smaller than him. And then like maybe like since he's a frog dude, like maybe they just like swallow. Like you can like swallow like pull him towards you and the next turn you can swallow him. Maybe it's something like that. If we're going that direction. Starts with heavy armor on crits degrades to medium, then that's kind of cool. I would like to see why. Like so, like we did that for the bark, the treant people because they have bark. Like he hit the bark and the bark goes away. Like the bark armor to grade. So like why would like this soft squishy frog have heavy armor? Short-sighted. Okay, so I'm running out of time. So that was less than 10 minutes. All right, let's check out Faye real quick because I want to try and get to everybody's. Let's reset. Some cool ideas. Let's lean into the frogginess. Have them hop. Have them use their tongue. Have them pull things toward them. Have them swallow dudes. Like yeah, let's really lean into that. I feel like frogs wouldn't poison as much, like unless they are eaten themselves. Like if someone eats the frog. Fae, Gremlin, Wrestler, Gremlin Roastmaster, Bogey, Fairy. Love all of it. I love the trickiness, the Roastmaster, Wrestler. All of that seems pretty fun. Okay, so let's zoom in a little bit so you guys can see. I'm going to try to wrap it up here pretty quickly. TPK alternative. They don't really want the heroes dead in the first place. Or, yeah, love that. And for like cute little fairy dudes, I was just like I'm actually commissioning some arts with like fairies and stuff, and like the fairies are cute. Like you may not want to kill them. So like whatever the disclaimer we have for like the urban like gang fights and stuff, we might have here like fairies never like they'll never like kill you. Like they just they want to knock you out so they can like dress you up and put marker on your face. And fairies like once they take lethal damage, once they drop to 0 hit points, they just like poof, they just turn into glitter and like they recuperate somewhere. It's like something like that. Like I don't know, maybe gremlins are fine to be killed. I don't know. Once per turn, gremlins may taunt a hero for a turn. That's cool. I love that. Foul mouth. Bite. So can gremlin minions taunt also? Reach 6. Okay, so I like that you have a limit on this so that the guy 50 spaces away like is gonna make me run all the way to him. No, I'm at least within 1 movement of everybody. So one concern that I have is if there's like 5 heroes and 5 gremlins, like this gremlin taunts this guy, and this gremlin taunts this guy, and this gremlin taunts that guy, and this gremlin taunts this guy, So like who taunted who could be hard to keep up with. So maybe all the gremlins can have 1 hero taunted. Maybe it's that, rather than like each gremlin independently can taunt independently a different hero. That might be better. So they're all sort of like, they're all taunting him. So that the gremlins are, or maybe just like, maybe instead of they're all taunting him, like this one gremlin, like this one gremlin is taunting this hero. I'm not sure. If it helps you to like get some jelly beans out on the table and like sort of play it out, like have like 5 gremlins and 5 heroes and see how easy it is to play. Mucus. Okay, that makes sense. Cool, cool. Imanol. Yeah, see how easy it is to keep track of who's taunting whom, and if it's easy to get lost, especially over like a round or whatever, then limit it in some way. Bite and claw, 1d6 plus 6. On hit, riding if target is medium or larger. I like that. That's funny. Gremlin Wrestler, punching up, can grapple targets up to large size. Okay, so a small creature can grapple. So like a toddler, like a kindergartner, can grapple like a car. Or a horse. Like a toddler, like grabbing onto the leg of a horse can stop the horse from moving. If it's magic, makes sense. If it's not magic, then we might want to rethink what this is. 2/6 plus 6 on hit grappled, escape DC 12. If already grappled, prone. That's cool. That's funny. I like that. That's clear. Annoying aura. Here's within reach 2. Treat rolls of 2 as a miss. Heroes. So I would say reach 2. Heroes miss on a 2. Say that I would streamline all that. Choose one. Fight dirty, 2d8 plus 6. If these guys are d6, let's just leave this guy a d6 also. You can tweak the 2d6 plus 8 or whatever. If target is hampered, crit. Okay, so if grappled or prone, or taunted. Is taunted? I don't know if taunted counts as hampered. I have to double check. If target is hampered, crit. Maybe just advantage. Gain advantage if or plus 5 damage if target is hampered. Fighting dirty. And maybe instead of hampered, we could just clarify if they're grappled or prone. Since hampered is a rare thing. Or we could like include like if like the fairies like hamper and do different things, then maybe hamper is fine. Psychic feedback. 1d8 plus 12. Okay, 1d8 plus 12. Okay, so this should be clear that this doesn't deal as much damage. So 2d8 plus 6. So I'm not sure which one is better. So it should be clear which one to pick. Lust for violence. Bogey gains advantage for each adjacent hero. Oh, that's so cool. That's really neat. That is super duper cool. Lust for violence. I choose violence. Smack and grab, 1d10 plus 5 on hit grappled. Then headbutt. Grab and headbutt. On hit grappled. Okay. So yeah, if this guy has a d6, then gaining advantage is more important. So gaining advantage on a d10, it doesn't help that much. Okay, so question. So if there's a bogey and one hero, does he get to attack with advantage? Or is it the advantage for each hero beyond the first? So there's the bogey and one hero, a bogey and 2 heroes, and he attacks, and then he's grappled, so he has advantage 2 now. So he's rolling 3d10. Let's I think that's how it was clarify. Fluggermist fairy may teleport 1d8 spaces instead of moving on their turn. That's cool. Poke. Do fairies teleport? Maybe they're just like so small and fast you can just say like they're just immune to opportunity attacks. I don't know that they teleport. If they do in lore or whatever, then I'm just not aware, then like that's cool. But if they don't, then we can keep it. Poke, love it. Stab. Ooh, 1d8 for a fairy? No, I don't think so. Um, yeah, I don't think so. Homing arrows, ranged attacks are unaffected by cover and line of sight. I would say magic arrows instead of homing arrows. Magic shot, 2x, cover and line of sight. Maybe fairy merrymaker. Yeah, let's lay into the prankster stuff. Like knocks you over, you're stuck with glue, like you're slowed or you're restrained. Like they're doing things to you. Like they're not going to be the most damage dealing things, right? Like what other creative things can they do to you? So I think for this one, like it's like we don't want to be annoying. Okay. They could teleport you into the air. So we don't want to be annoying. They can trick. So like the next time you would be healed, the next time you would be healed, you were damaged for that much. That might be a little bit too nasty. The next time you would roll with advantage, roll with disadvantage instead. Like flipping things upside down. Like that kind of thing would be a bit more fun. A fairy, like the fairy themselves are not going to be doing a lot of damage, but maybe the fairy can like prod the bogey to be super angry and like deal an extra d20 damage or like something. Like I feel like so the fairies themselves, like the encounter with the fairies is not going to be the fairies are doing most of the damage. The fairy might make the hero damage another one of their friends. Like because that's so funny. Like haha, you smacked your friend. So most of their damage is not going to be coming from them, I don't think. So we might need to rethink, unless it's magic. Like if they're just doing like here's a big magic blast, but like the fairy doing that would just make me want to kill the fairy, right? Oh, I almost knocked over a cup of water. So if the fairy is like fireballing me, like yeah, kill the fairies. But if the fairy is like the next time you miss an attack, re-roll the attack against the closest ally. Like it wouldn't be that exactly because I don't want to have to like roll the attack twice. Just like the next time you miss an attack, like XYZ, something happens. Like the heroes damaging each other. The fairies are just sort of like they're tying your shoelaces together, they're pulling your pants down, they're they're doing that kind of thing. They're bugging you, they're having fun, they want to laugh. Uh, but like once combat is over, like they'll tell you where the thing is. Like, all right, you won. We'll tell you where the secret, the pot of gold is, not the pot of gold. We'll tell you where the thing is, like that kind of thing. Like no hard feelings, right? I feel like they should have that sort of vibe. So I think the fairies should all be D4 all the way down. On crit, something fun happens. On miss, they're like, ah. That is the vibes for the fairies, I think. So keep cooking on this. I think you're not wrong. Homing arrows, I think isn't where we're going. Prank bomb, yes. Prank bomb, yes. Sticky gum, stinky gas, exactly. Fairy trick mage. You can swap two heroes when you're attacked. I can, yeah. Here we go. Switcheroo. There you go. Yeah, we're on the right track. We're definitely on the right track. Okay. We went over time. All right, so that was 12 minutes. Okay. Razzle. I'm gonna look at these more later, but wintergreen. Okay. Well, I have to read this. Okay. So what I have for the Fae. I said I'm done, but I'm not done yet. Okay. So what I have for the Fae. If we go to backgrounds, so Fae touched. So this kind of thing would be cool. Maybe not this exactly, but this kind of thing. You take half damage from all magical effects, double from weapons made of metal. Okay. So like fairies being weak to iron is like the classic thing. And being strong against magic is classic, right? So I'd love to see some of those vibes. I'd love to see some of those vibes. Maybe not that exactly, but you know, that kind of thing. Yeah, it shouldn't be a soup of conditions and passives. It should be like this thing happens. Yeah. Like if you have one guy applying conditions like that, that's fine. Like he's doing one thing. Prank bomb. Uh, you're stuck, right? If you got one guy doing that, everybody else can laugh. Great, but everybody shouldn't do that. Everybody shouldn't do that. Razzle Goblin Iconoclast. That is one of my favorite names. Mav, the Winter Queen. And actually, I've got really cool art. Let me pull up this art real quick. And just before I read Mav, if you would like to, design around this, this is like one of my favorite pieces of art that I have, and I haven't used it yet. She seems like she would definitely be. So this is from Annie Steg Gerard. Really cool. Like this would be a cool ice queen, and like she looks like she's like ethereal enough to where she's definitely Fae, right? So that makes sense to me. So if we do something like that. Okay, let's talk about thugs, and then we'll wrap it up. View 200. Brutal Troumecos, thugs, ruffian, train, thug, bully, enforcer, yes man, back in hitman, boozer. Yeah, all these guys, yeah, happy to kill them. Main ability, cheap shot when an enemy gets up from being prone or ends a grappled or restrained condition adjacent to you. Nice. Multiple cheap shots can be blocked and opposed as one. Awesome. That is nice. I really, really like that. I really like that. Was that Rayford? Yeah, Christian. Awesome, man. That is cool. Clobber. Love it. Trained Hound. Final. Maybe call it like Mangy Hound. It's like, because like people feel bad about killing dogs, you know? Maybe not Hound. Maybe something, I don't know. On death, move for an attack the closest enemy. On death, I don't know. Bite, on hit, lockjaw. You gain the writing condition having your target. So that would be grapple. So you grapple the target on lockjaw. On hit, grapple. The target is slowed, I think is what it is. Goose? Trained goose. Don't do that, but that is funny. Thug, clobber on crit, knock prone. That's cool. So I feel like D8 doesn't crit very often. D8 doesn't crit very often. So this is such a cool idea. I'd want to see it happen like. I'd like to see it happen like 2 or 3 or 4 times per encounter. I'd like to see it happen like with some frequency. But let's see what else we have. Concussive blow, hampered target, deal 15 damage. Target is dazed. Okay, so this guy just on hit, he can knock prone. That's interesting. Bully. So the bully throws object. Okay, so this guy is dealing much less damage, but on hit, he knocks prone. This guy on crit knocks prone. That's cool. So why would this concussive blow? Maybe this could be like cheap shot. Oh no, you already have cheap shot. Maybe this could be like grappled target. So like the guy's holding him, like he's holding him. He's like, let me go, and this guy like comes and like hits him instead of concussive blow. So maybe this could be like a grappled target, like grappled target only. Just deal 15 damage, and they're dazed. Or like deal 15 damage, and they're knocked prone, ending the grapple. Like, so that like the bully's like holding the arms like this, and like your arms are like up, wow, and you like suck a punch him right in the stomach, and then like the bully lets him like flop down, like that. That sort of feels right. It's messed up. A rush down when an enemy is grappled or knocked prone, calls an ally. You just say move an ally. You could just say move an ally, or an ally can move. When an enemy is grappled or knocked prone, rush down. I would call it something other than the rush down, but I like this. So like, kids get into a fight in Bad Dog. No dogs are bad. Maybe, yeah, I don't know. Well, you think about it. Because if you say like, yeah, this bad guy has a dog, like that some people might not like that. Maybe he can have a warg or a wolf, or like some other creature. I don't know, cook on it a little bit. Rush down. So like the idea of like, hey, everybody get in here. Like there's a fight, people rush to see the fight. Someone gets knocked down, that sort of thing. Like a goose. A goose. Yeah, gooses are the evilest animals. Smash and grab on hit grappled. On hit grappled on. Okay. So these guys are grappling a lot. Grappling and knocking prone. Maybe on damage grappled. Because if you roll like a 2 and a 1, 12 damage, like it makes sense that like Osorn could like block all of that. And then I'm not grappled, right? So maybe on damage grappled. Yes, man. Statistic rally. Allies deal +5 damage when attacking a hampered creature. Irksome rambling. Concentrate enemy is taunted by me. Ooh, this is cool. Okay, so this is just a buff dude. I really like this. Irksome rambling. An enemy. So you could just say taunt an enemy. Just say taunt an enemy. Cannot use reactions. I don't feel like that. That's not good to take away the agency of the heroes. Heroes doing that to the GM's monsters, that's fine because they get a bunch of monsters. But like me not letting the heroes like cast their cool reaction spells or like defend or make opportunity attacks. No, taunted is enough. Like disadvantage on all attacks against anybody else other than me is a pretty big debuff. Back alley mage shadow nail. That's a cool name of a spell. Hit target is restrained by 1 shadow nail. Maybe on crit, because like they're grappling a lot. So it's 2d8 plus 5. Removing a nail costs an action. Ooh, yeah, this might be too nasty. Might be too nasty. On damage, at least on damage, because if like you defend it, yeah, on damage target is restrained. Removing a nail costs 1 action. Okay, so what about this? Might check. Removing 1 nail requires a 5 might check. Okay. Maybe not this exactly. We're just cooking. So you're hit with 3 nails. So if there's a really strong berserker, he can make a DC 15 might check fairly easily, and he just bursts through all the nails with 1 action. But a mage, like a mage, he can easily make a 5, but it's like pulling 1 out with 1 action, pulling another nail out with another action. Like something like that would be cool. Sort of like treating these nails as like minions who are restraining him. That might be neat. So I think I would do on damage, and then some way to where it's not so punitive. Yeah, that would be cool. And you know what? I would like just have this guy do this. Or maybe like, yeah, I think I would have this guy like just do this. Maybe. And the yes man, maybe the yes man can like add minions. I don't know. Like this is a lot already. That's pretty sweet though. Cool idea. Hitman isolated assault. Attacks against a target with no allies adjacent have advantage. Ooh, that's cool. Set a bloodied target's hit points to 0. Oh. That's nasty. That's really nasty. I want to make sure it scales. It's one of those abilities that is like both too good and not good enough, which is a weird place to be. It's a cool idea. Execute. Maybe this. So I think it's just a little bit too complicated here. So what if it was you can only execute a target where like no like someone who's not within range to be interposed, right? So they have to be like, you know, out of range. Or an ally that you have advantage against, right? It's like they could be. So maybe isolated assault could be like if no if no hero can interpose for you, you're isolated. And then this, uh, uh, if you have advantage, then you can set a bloodied heroes. If you have advantage against a bloody target, set their hit point to 0. That's cool. Like it's not like super overpowering, but this is cool. So hit like yeah. If you make those two changes, I think that would be cool. And then shank. I wouldn't have this. I just like this guy's got enough nastiness going on. Just so level 5. Let's see. So how I would do this guy, level 5. So 19 damage. So 2d8 plus 10. Okay. So for this guy, because he's doing so much other nasty stuff, I would have him like so he's level 5. He's doing some nasty stuff. I would have the damage output for his regular attack just be like 15. It's like 2d8 plus 6. So less damage because he's like everything else is so nasty. Maybe even less, right? So I would do that kind of thing to compensate. So his normal attack, if you're not bloodied, like if nobody's bloodied, then like he's not doing a whole lot, right? If nobody's isolated, nobody's bloodied, he's not doing a whole lot. But if you are, then like he's really cooking. Bruiser. Hitman should be level. I mean, like a level 5 hero is quite the professional. Like a level 5 hero is like substantial. So I think level 5 for Hitman is fine. Bruiser level 7. Stir down. After 2 more allies deal cheap shot damage to an enemy. DC plus damage taken, strength save or so. That is a cool idea. I would just say DC 10 strength save. Because it's pretty punishing. It's pretty punishing. And I would say the first time this happens in a round so that it can't just happen over and over again. That's cool though. Or maybe it should be like, oh no, you don't, because cheap shot can take place when they break a grapple or when they stand up from prone. So like stay down wouldn't make sense if they're breaking from grapple, right? Crush on hit, deal 1 wound. I don't think this guy should deal 1 wound. Slam on hit, knockback 2 and prone. Yeah, so I would say, yeah, this guy might just have this. So crush, just damage and not requiring a hamper target. Like, so there's enough going on with this guy already. Elite Thug. Needless cruelty when attacking with advantage. Crit instead. Okay, so explain what that means. So wallop, command 2 this. Okay, so when attacking with advantage, so 2d8 plus 10, so it's gonna be 8 plus 4. 12, so it's gonna be 22 plus 4. So just say, so I'd say this. When attacking with advantage, your wallop deals 25 damage and knocks prone. Or something like so, like so they don't have to like find the dice and roll twice and then do the thing. Like just tell me what happens. Yeah, that's really good. Command 2 thugs to attack. What are the thugs? Oh, just any of these? Oh no, that's too good. Yeah, it could be like command up to 2 minions to attack. Like that. That's fine. But no, if like two bruisers, like this would be too much of a force multiplier to be able to really calculate easily. Legendary Thug. Okay, is he solo? He's level 4 solo? Okay, if I feel like he should probably be a little bit higher level. If this goes up to level 8 and level 5, 6, 7, 8, then the solo should be stronger than that probably. After each player's turn, choose one. What is a ruffian? What is a ruffian? Oh, summon 2 ruffians. Okay, so this one should be first. Okay, so the ruffians. So I would say thug minion, so that you like the thug is the monster group. Oh, the thug minion is called a ruffian. Oh, that's confusing. I would just call this a thug minion, so that it's easier to because it was confusing me. Your thug minions cheap shots deal 5 damage. Okay. Steaded whip. Okay. So this is how he knocks prone. So this doesn't do anything until bloodied. Okay. I'd like to know when to use this, when to use this, or when to use this. So cool idea. I'd like to see this happen like before you're bloodied. So like maybe ruffian's cheap shots deal damage. If you're ever attacked by 3 or more ruffians, they grapple or something, something like that. Or he starts combat with 2 minions per hero, and anytime there's fewer minions than heroes, use this. Or something like let me know, let me know what to do more. Right. Really cool ideas. I think that's it. You guys, thank you so much for hanging out. Really cool ideas. I'm really looking forward to. I think next week is the end. Let's see, nimblerpg.com. Let's just check news. Let's see when the end of the design jam is, you guys. Deadline is going to be Saturday, June 28th. Yes, so it is next Saturday, not tomorrow. Next Saturday, June 28th at midnight Pacific Daylight Time. Are you doing another review stream? So this is gonna be the last review stream. That should be plenty of information for you guys to run with. This is the last review stream. But if you would like me to review things, feel free to ping me in Discord. If you just want feedback on something. But yeah, this is gonna be the last review stream for this one, since like if I review the submissions next Friday, then you guys only have like a day to like make changes. I don't want to do that to you guys. I don't want you guys to rush. So currently the last one that I'm planning, but I'm looking forward very much to see everybody's submissions so far. Things are looking really cool. Things are looking really, really interesting. All right, you guys, appreciate it. Hope that has been helpful. See ya.